Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode. I am Michael Petrow, and on the show this week, you've got Mark Cowell, Rob Strachan, Ian Bawa, and myself sitting down talking about multiple topics because it is a real talk for you this week, ladies and gentlemen. We have, if our house burnt down, what 3 costumes from the film and TV world would we want to have on the ready to get back into life until we could stock up on a wardrobe again. We also talk about how fun Free Guy was as a movie, but at the same time, what video game would you want to live in and exist in as maybe an NPC or as a starring role? Saturday morning cartoons, we revise, make our greatest hits list. Don't say rhymes on the show, Michael. And then finish it up with a new segment that we call Roger's Regrets, where we review one of Roger Ebert's reviews. That was, I think the threshold was 2 stars or less, and see if we agree or disagree. So that's who's and what's on the show for you this week, ladies and gentlemen. No housekeeping as of right now. We're coming up with a new shirt line for you. We've got some signature debater shirts coming down the pipeline. Each of them has a collection of props, so to speak, from some of our favorite movies or what we see in film and in ourselves and what we wanted. Ian's will be self-explanatory. The point is that's coming, so check us out. realdebaters.ca is where you can find all the hot links and stuff like that. But Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok, there's always a link in the bio, so to speak, that is just one link to everything that we do called the Debaterverse. So go check that out. May 14th. Scratch that. Reverse that. Take it another time, Michael. May 14th at the Handsome Daughter. We are going to be podcasting live, 8 o'clock, May 14th. That night, it starts, 7 o'clock, the doors open. We're going to be debating. Everybody is going to be arguing which movie or series should have its own themed restaurant. So, for example, if you were to take, I don't know, let's say The Godfather, it would be Corleone's, an Italian restaurant. Get what I'm saying? Anyways, if you want to come see that, watch that, listen to it, and argue with us, it's a live podcasting event, so there's going to be a microphone being passed around. There's going to be trivia. There's going to be prizes. There's going to be a lot of fun, and it's only $10. So once all this snow is fucking done and you want something fun to do in the springtime, May 14th at the Handsome Daughter. Doors open at 7. Show goes on at 8 o'clock. Stay tuned on our social media. The event will slowly be popping up over the next few weeks. You can RSVP there, so we know who's coming. And if you want, get at me, Jimmy, or Charles in the notes of the show. If you want to email us, email therealdebaters@gmail.com. But our other emails are there as well, too. That's it. That's all, ladies and gentlemen. I give you another real talk. I will shut the fuck up. I will cue that reel. And you enjoy the show.
Let's tidy up this tangle of film by putting it on a reel. Here is a motion picture film, 1,000 feet, 16,000 separate photographs.
Welcome everyone to the official space section of the charter.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Sir, you're out of order.
Out of order? I show you out of order!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Real Debaters production. Welcome back to the show. Welcome to where real life is real life. I'm Michael Petrow.
I'm Ian Bawa.
Mark Cowell.
Jimmy Stewart. I'm Rob Strachan.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very laid-back real talk for you today. It's got some Saturday morning cartoons. It's got some costume work. It's got some video game talk. It's got a little bit of everything. But before we get into that, I know somebody went somewhere recently, and I want to start with him and what he watched this week. But you were shooting out photos of you being in Ireland or Scotland? Scotland, okay.
How much better was the Netflix there?
It's okay when you have a VPN. No, okay. They're all the same in the end. The Netflix was mediocre. I actually went to see Batman while I was there. Again.
That's where you saw Batman?
Well, I saw it a second time there.
How was the movie theater there?
Well, exactly, because that's my big thing. I went to what it's called an Omni, which is pretty common in the UK, I think.
Okay.
It's basically like the Silver City or the Cineplex that we have in North America.
Or AMC.
Or AMC, yeah, it's a big theater. It's very nice, well-separated seat, okay projection, good sound.
Okay projection?
It just, I think it was where I was sitting. Like, it was just like a little too dark. But I'd say my IMAX screening, the first one was better. And I was looking for crowd reaction too. It was very quiet, so which was surprising.
Culturally, it's a quieter theater.
Exactly, it was. I was
Reserved
like,
people.
Yeah.
Highbrow.
It was like medium
like-
filled as well.
Were you in Glasgow? Or?
I was in Edinburgh.
Edinburgh.
But no, it was really good. Like I
Those
like,
are the bougie Scots.
it is. It's so artsy there. It's so pretty. It's like a
It's the
fairy
Ewan
tale.
McGregor's.
It's like in Bruges, they always say that movie. They were always joking like it's a fairy tale, but that's what I kept saying about Edinburgh. I was like, oh man, it's like a fairy tale because all the buildings.
I
look
don't
that.
like foreign
Bruges.
films. I never watched it.
You would love it. I think it's such.
No,
a
I've
good-
seen it, but I
Okay.
don't understand a fucking. I understand like every.
You have to watch it
eighth
with
word.
subtitles.
yeah.
Watch
yeah.
the subtitles.
It's such
yeah.
a
Colin
heavy-
Farrell is such that heavy.
Oh, hi,
accent.
yeah. It's like that.
Yeah.
Brendan Gleeson, Colin Farrell. Oh,
It's
money.
very
And then
good.
fuck the my favorite part still is when they get the telegram and they read
I
it in
don't
their
even
head.
Remember, Jeez,
And
like, that's how long
getting
it's-
the telegram, it's just you fucking fucks, you fucking left the hotel, and I fucking told you not to. And it's Ralph
Oh,
Fiennes
really?
reading it, and then they just looks up at the hotel lady, and she's just pissed that she.
I
I love the
years.
reaction on his face when the guy falls off the bell tower.
Oh, right.
You're gonna go up there. You're such not a nice man.
What's-
You're not a very nice man.
And he's just like,
And what's the Game of Thrones? The what's he's in it? Isn't he?
Mormont?
No. Who plays the
Tyrion.
Tyrion? Thank you,
Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage.
Is that Peter Dinklage in
That's
it?
Peter
Is
Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage in it?
Yeah.
Somebody
In
check that.
Bruges?
In
It-
Bruges?
Yeah, he plays the. Remember, he punches like Colin Farrell in the nuts.
I don't think that's.
He's like he does
Is
coke
he the
with them.
is he the little person
Yeah.
that is in the film that they're making?
Yeah.
Is,
I'm like, let's do this now.
If it's
Okay.
not Peter Dinklage, we have to record this all again.
I know.
that, right?
Well, do you notice I was trying to avoid saying like, I'm like
It is not Peter Dinklage.
Okay.
All right
no.
then.
It's Jordan Prentice.
sorry.
So let's start again.
Okay, wait.
No,
No,
cool.
there's
Jordan Prentice was in Howard the Duck.
Good.
there's that actor in it, Jordan.
And he was in
Jordan
Harold and
Pritchard.
Kumar.
I know they look all the same.
Okay, so you're
All right.
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Nz's. Let's fucking start again.
Yeah.
back to ones. Back to
No.
ones. No, okay, so Batman in Scotland was a good time the second time around.
Yes, and then because I was on a plane, I watched a ton of movie going there. Watched a ton of movies coming home.
What'd you watch on the plane going there?
Oh my god, I can't even like. I was trying to make the list in
Because
my
you were
head.
telling me that you've seen
I've
almost
seen
everything.
too much. I've
Yeah.
seen pretty much all the Oscar stuff except for like Tragedy of Macbeth and like some of the animation and the shorts. Like I've seen everything else. So like, but like I watched Flea. I watched The Last Duel, which I loved.
Was that the medieval
the last-
Adam Driver one?
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's fantastic.
Was
It's-
it good?
It's like so good. It's Ridley Scott. I watched also House of Gucci. That's terrible. It's very boring. But that's also Ridley Scott.
I feel like I was worried that Ridley Scott's like just done.
No, you know what? Last Duel is so like it's funny because it seems like a joke of a movie having like Matt Damon, Ben Affleck wearing these wigs and stuff. It's I don't know. Did you guys ever see Rashomon at any point in your life?
No.
It's like an old like Kurosawa movie. It's Rashomon. They basically an event happens between Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, the actress from Free Guy who's in Killing Eve.
Oh, Jodie Comer.
Thank you. And Adam Driver. An event happens, and they show it like multiple times to kind of show you everyone's point of view of it.
Oh, okay. I like
It's
that.
a great movie, and I highly recommend it.
It's on Disney Plus right now.
It
I've been
is.
meaning to get to
I know.
it.
Well, so like,
Oh, perfect. I'll watch it later.
It's very good. I watched because I got back and had COVID. I basically ended up watching more movies.
Basically, his wife gets raped, right? Isn't that
Yes,
essentially what
that's
happens?
essentially
Yeah.
what
It's the
happens.
first. It's one of the first recorded sexual assault trials in history. And
Yes.
it's based on actual true
Oh, it
stories.
is.
Yes,
It's
it's
based
based
on
on true events.
and
yeah.
one of the
Question:
last.
Would have gone to trial if it wasn't Nobles?
Well, that's kind of
part of the story.
movie.
I've heard that,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So it's very
Interesting.
interesting.
Okay.
Like that's the whole thing. I'm like very intrigued by.
And also,
So it's kind of a class discussion as well
Yes.
too. That's cool. Okay.
Yep.
one of the correct me if I'm wrong. One of the last duels, like the actual style of
Well, yeah,
duel
'cause
to the death.
They
to
don't
be,
do that.
they
They
don't-
didn't do that back then. Like,
Yeah.
that's why it's kind of like the last resort situation. So, which could also be a name of the film, like, but because that's all they could do at that point. So it's
Well,
it's very interesting.
pistols at dawn.
Yeah,
well, in this
essentially,
case, swords.
Yeah,
but-
swords. Yeah. I watched the entire season, or it's a mini series of Devs, which came out in 2020. And it's with Nick Offerman, and it's by Oh my God, names are
Already
coming.
interested.
It's by the filmmaker who made Ex Machina and and
Yeah.
Annihilation. I can't think of his name right now. Alex Skarsgård? No, that's wrong. Anyways,
I think it's a Swedish guy though.
yeah. In general, it's sci-fi. It's very much a slow burn. It's very good. It's
Let me Jamie that. for
It's
you.
it's 8 episodes, and it's based about Nick Offerman is basically a Steve Jobs who's
Alex Garland,
Alex Garland. Thank you.
not Swedish.
Nick Offerman's basically a Steve Jobs building a. He has a secret department in his like tech firm called Devs, and he's like building something that is. You find out what it is essentially, and it's really cool. He's
Morally
recruiting.
questionable.
Well, I'll say really interesting.
Isn't
and,
everything that big tech does morally questionable now?
Yeah.
That's a blanket statement.
But otherwise,
Google be evil.
the only other things I'd probably talk because I watched too much. I watched.
Yeah, like save some airtime for us.
I know Red Rocket. Have you guys seen Red Rocket?
No.
I've heard about it. Isn't
Okay.
that kind of semi-autobiographical for the actor? Didn't the actor?
I didn't know about that. But
I knew.
That,
That
that's
kind of made me
interesting.
interested in it.
well, I know it's the only thing I truly know.
Tell them what the plot is, because
So it's basically about a porn star who comes back home because he's like broke, and he ends up having a relationship with a 17-year-old, and it kind of goes on from there. But it's by the same director who did Florida Project and Tangerine and Sean Baker. And it's very good. It's question. I have issues with certain aspects of it, kind of the storyline. It's kind of fantasizing this like what this would be like in real life. I don't know. I'm like, do I
Wrong,
like this?
but yeah.
Do I like this, or is this something else I'm like and enjoying it? Like I was trying to figure it out, but it's a good movie.
Sure, it
overall.
wasn't Polanski that did it.
Yeah, right. Well, he did. Polanski did do it.
This girl's 17, dude,
Yeah.
not 13.
Oh, way too old for Polanski.
Hi-yo!
But yeah, I'll leave it there. But I've watched way too much, so yeah.
Who's the lead? I've seen him in
I can't think of his name, but he is in Scary Movie 3.
Rex something. Isn't
Yes.
Rex. Yes.
He's in a lot of stuff, but he's so good.
it? I only know that because I just looked it up.
But he
on
was a
IMDb.
porn star. Or
Oh,
he
I didn't
dabbled
know
in.
that.
He dabbled in porn, and
Was
it was like, this is a bad
was
idea.
he lead actor or stunt cock?
I didn't.
Simon
I didn't,
Rex is his
Simon
name.
Rex.
Simon
Yes.
Rex.
I didn't get
Is
into the
he called
credits.
Simon Rex because he wrecks?
Does that name?
I'm being serious.
does it play on both sides of the screen? Right.
Yeah.
Possibly. I'm Simon Rex.
He only does nubile porn.
I know, right?
But like, you took pictures. Scott, I always is that Diagon Alley that you were down?
Oh,
like the
no,
actual-
no. Just there's streets there that look like Diagon Alley.
Okay.
Actually, where I was staying was literally a 3-minute walk from J.K. Rowling's house. So like, and she's on a bus route, which is funny. She's in a really rich end of Edinburgh, but so I
where the bus route stops.
well, like essentially, but like but I would.
How
pass her-
dare the peasants be able to
Right.
come close to my house?
You let that chariot turn right. Doesn't come down this way.
I'd pass
This
her
is a
house.
trans-free zone.
Right.
We pass her house every day, and the funny thing is her house is huge, and she has these massive hedges, and there was a big she had to actually the city made her cut some of her hedges down because it was
nice.
affecting street lights because the property's so huge.
You're telling me J.K. Rowling has too big of a bush?
Yeah. Yeah, legit.
She had to trim that shit.
It's so funny, actually. I was like, fuck, why didn't it
You
get
heard
that
it here,
trimmed?
ladies and gentlemen. J.K. Rowling has a huge bush.
But it still was kind of cool, like, to drive. And it's also home of the Harry Potter graveyard. So that's where... J.K. Rowling, I guess, lived there when she was writing
Is
the
that where
book.
she buried her career after what she said recently?
Right at
Multiple
a
things.
street, there's a fork in the road, and you can only go two ways.
I can see you trying to. There it is.
I know, right? Yeah.
There it is.
The answer is binary.
You can't write. You can't walk
There's
in the middle.
nothing in the middle.
Yeah, you can't.
two
you
roads.
just can't.
Gray? How dare you?
But otherwise, yeah, no, it was a good trip. Busy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What was your favorite so far? Because obviously this is coming out way after the Oscars, ladies and gentlemen, because we just don't care when we record. But out of everything you've seen for Best Picture, it'll be fun to see if this is what happens.
So recently, all the everyone's saying Coda might win.
Yeah.
Over which I hate Coda. It's a long Glee episode. Power of the Dog, I think should win in a way, but like if I had a choice, I'd probably say like. Oh man, I don't even know anymore. It's not a really great Best Picture year. I'm trying to even think what is all nominated. at this
Nightmare
point.
Alley.
Right.
Don't Look Up.
Nope.
Dune. Drive
Maybe.
My Car,
I did Drive My Car.
Belfast,
No.
Licorice Pizza,
Yes.
No.
Power of the Dog,
Yes.
West Side Story,
Possibly.
Yeah.
King Richard,
Nope.
and Coda.
Should be. Never.
Yeah, it would have to be like Nightmare Alley, Power of the Dog, or like Drive My Car for me. One of those three. But I'm happy Power of the Dog wins. Please God, not Coda. It's probably going to be Coda, which is going to piss me off. But
Well, if you feel like coming by tomorrow,
What's
we're
Coda
gonna be-
about?
We're gonna be watching here.
oh yeah,
I
I wish.
I have Oscar bingo cards upstairs.
Oh, maybe I got.
I
could
feel
break-
like they need to go back to just 5 nominees. I hate the 10 nominee
It
thing.
does. It
it's
does get
kinda
it's a
thrown
lot of
off. It's
work.
messy.
and it
You know
makes
what?
anxious.
Well, you know why they do it. It's basically to create more
Buzz.
box office.
Yeah,
It
totally.
is.
That's all
It's-
it
yeah,
is.
Well, I think that's like Billie Eilish is nominated for
The Oscars is
No
a
Time to
giant
Die.
circle
Yeah.
jerk now.
Yeah, it's to try to bring in younger viewers. Like
That's what every
Nobody
review
gives
I've
a
read
fuck.
I know.
so much has said that you need to stop caring. The Academy needs to stop caring about the money they
The
can
Oscars
generate.
are the Emmys 12 years ago,
Yeah. Well, and
and the Grammys 15.
they
Yeah,
used to put on a show, and now they just put a show on for themselves,
Yeah.
expecting us to be like. I'm like, I like
don't-
what
I
you
like
make,
it,
but I'm
yeah.
not going to gush
They
sycophantically.
never put
Yeah,
on
yeah.
a show. There was just nothing else to watch.
Yeah.
Well, the Billy
They used to do
Crystal
more numbers.
Yeah,
and
they're used.
Yeah, but then they try to do the numbers and nobody wants to do it, so they go back away from it, and then everyone complains that it's not there, but nobody was watching it anyway.
I know we're humans. We
Right.
don't know what we
It's
want.
at the end of the day, it's just the reality is it's network TV.
Right.
Nobody gives a fuck.
Yep.
The only people that watch cable are over 55, and nobody gives a shit about them anymore. The demo you care about is 30 to 40, which are your older millennials. Period. End of story. Next.
Who's hosting?
It's
Amy
3 people
Schumer,
Exactly.
Wanda Sykes,
Who's nobody fucking knows.
in the third.
and a third.
There's 3.
Yeah.
You need 3.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
Is that the new tactic? Let's do 3. Let's see if that works. Next is going to be we have 7 different hosts.
just
Tiffany Haddish.
Bring Gervais back.
no, but it's another.
He pisses too many people off.
That was a good year.
Conan O'Brien was a good year too.
Yeah,
Oh, I like Conan.
Everybody likes Conan.
That's the thing. You can't fail.
So,
But he doesn't bring the numbers
Letterman failed.
Letterman.
Remember when they made the
Oscar?
Oscars a top 10 list? You're
Yeah.
like, get the fuck out
Fuck
of here.
off. Yeah, I know.
how many?
Whoopi failed, too.
How many spike proteins?
I actually
out
didn't
of
mind
10 do
Franco's.
you-
Franco and
Spike protein.
How many spike proteins out of 10 do you give your COVID movie watch?
Like all of them, I give it like a solid 6 because I think there was more bad than good.
Okay,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
You consumed a lot.
I consumed way too much, and that's the problem because I also like overdid it. Where I'm like, I don't remember what I watched. I was like,
And nothing
half of it.
sticks anymore, right?
You know,
No.
I always recommend like if you're gonna do the 10-hour flight on the plane,
Planet?
you just crush a series, a 10-episode series.
Usually I do, but like I also get antsy by that. I also love movies over shows
Yeah.
always. Like that's me, but yeah. So I it depends on the.
I watched
what have.
Handmaid's Tale when I flew to Korea. and
That's
it
a
was
good one. I
and it
should
was-
do. Well, I have
Yeah.
Vietnam coming up in like about a month and a half. So
That's
like,
a fucking 14-hour flight.
that
though.
it's gonna. We're doing a big milk run, so it will be like I think it's almost gonna be 16 in the end. But yeah,
You flying through Hong Kong, or
yeah, on the way there, yes. On the way back, it's Tokyo. So yeah.
you might want to switch that flight away from Hong Kong.
No,
Maybe
I think their
maybe Tokyo or Seoul coming in.
producers are already looking into that. So we're like,
Yeah.
Rob, what'd you watch?
Lots and lots and lots of She-Ra, Princess of Power, which is actually pretty fucking good because it's kind of like an
super good.
anime style fucking redone version. My little daughter's into that, so that's been in the background a lot.
Yeah, thanks for the cute videos.
She's obsessed with Star
Walking
Wars.
around with a fucking
She's
Darth
always like,
Vader
I'll,
mug.
I'll come out with like my Darth Vader. I'll make a coffee in my Darth Vader mug, and she'll be like, "Oh, that's my." That she's basically she's like, "Oh, that's my Darth Vader cup." And then so she makes me go and dump the coffee in another mug, which is my Empire Strikes Back one. And then I put juice or kombucha in hers, and she's so happy.
can kids have kombucha?
Yeah, you just water it down a little bit.
Oh damn!
Why wouldn't they be able to have it?
I had no idea.
It's
I don't
not
know.
like it's not
Can
like
you-
Pop Rocks and
Can you,
Coke.
can you give kids kimchi and sauerkraut?
I have no idea.
Absolutely, you can.
Okay.
So why wouldn't you be able to give a kid a
I
fermented
don't know.
drink?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
So Princess Shira and
Um,
I'm learning about my future.
the
got health later.
yeah, I mean, the biggest thing a notable thing that I've watched in the last couple of days was Nightmare Alley. So,
Okay.
and it's a movie that I wanted to see when it was being released back in December, but just with the craziness of life at that time, thank you, supply chains, go fuck yourself. I didn't have time to actually go. And so I finally was able to watch it because it's been on Disney Plus, and I liked it. I mean, I'm a big Guillermo del Toro fan. Did I say that right? I feel like I always butcher it, but I think I did okay.
After having talked to to
Did I roll the
Lewis.
R in the right place?
I butchered it too while I was talking
Guillermo?
to him. It's Guillermo.
Guillermo.
Yeah.
Guillermo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hola.
Something like that.
I always like the feel of his movies. They always have a feel, and there's always a little bit of a filter. I felt like this one had a similar kind of lighting feel as Shape of Water.
Yes.
I
yes.
agree.
But I like that
Rich colors, deep
It
world.
was.
Yep.
It kind of it had a very film noir kind of feel.
100%.
I also like that not the entire movie, but the tail end of the movie was the early 40s, and it's during World War II, or it was when World War II is raging, but the U.S. hasn't joined yet. And I feel like that never gets explored as a time era really in film, because it's always like, early 40s, it's always a World War II movie.
Well,
right?
you know, it's interesting you say that because
Yeah.
during that time, the film industry was trying to keep your mind off of it.
Right.
So they didn't want they didn't want to make films about the time at the time. Because
Well, there was also a lot there was a really strict code of ethics on what you could put into movies at the
golden
time.
era of cinema.
Right?
You're playing jazz. You don't really know what you're doing.
Well, that
so
I
they-
mean,
The studio system.
well, it's a studio system, but I mean, if you look at which is notably probably like the only movie that ever pops in my mind that was made in the 40s is Double Indemnity, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
like
yeah.
the epitome of a film noir movie, and that was considered so fucking risque at the time. And now you watch it, it's like
I know. It was like that and Maltese Falcon. Like I think
Maltese
they were-
Falcon. There's another
yeah.
one, but those weren't. Those were all done
Vertigo.
after
Vertigo.
World
Yeah,
War
Vertigo's
II.
after.
They're all
Yeah,
like
yeah.
after,
they're
yeah.
like 46, 47 and
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that. So I like the feel of the movie. It had a good twist. It has a great cast. I fucking love Willem Dafoe. I'm
Yeah.
fucking watching him in that movie.
Let's go for steak and eggs.
And I don't
You
know what
hungry?
it-
I'm buying.
I don't know what it is. Every role he does, I just love him.
Yeah.
he's
love
so
him.
character,
Yeah.
but so
Yeah.
but like
Whether he's a hunter trying to hunt down the Tasmanian devil.
I love
and
that movie.
Fuck,
Fuck, do I love that movie?
or
Deep
he's the-
fucking
or he's the-
cut.
or he's the
What's the
fucking
name of that
Falk-
movie?
What movie is that?
It's great. I can't remember the name of it either, but it's fucking dope.
Oh, what is it? He literally is just a professional poacher.
Is that The Ghost in the Darkness? It's not
No,
that movie.
that's
No,
not Michael
no.
Douglas and Val Kilmer.
That's
Although
Val-
that's
yeah.
one of the best. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll find it.
We'll look it up
after,
in a
but
second.
Yeah,
And Bradley Cooper's great.
It's a big cast. It's like
Yeah.
Rooney Mara, Bradley Cooper, Kate Blanchett.
it's an Oscar
like,
bait cast. For
It's a big,
sure.
but like I think the one thing, like, and not to spoil it, but like it's not a monster movie. Which the entire time I watched it, I was like waiting for it, and because I'm like it's Guillermo, and then I was like, oh, this is not what I thought it. I went into it blank, and I was like, this is a great slow film noir.
And I love
film.
I love that 1930s carny kind of Dumbo-esque kind of feel.
Right.
Not saying like
Yeah,
cartoony
yeah.
like Dumbo, but
Yeah.
that the beaten track in the
Yeah.
middle of the prairies,
Yeah.
Depression era kind of thing. I don't know. I like that era. I like everything about it, and I don't know.
Where does it place as a Guillermo movie? Because that's the thing I'm having trouble with. 'Cause it's very different from his other stuff.
It's really, really different. It's not a Pan's Labyrinth. It's not a
Hellboy 2.
It's not a Hellboy. It's
Pacific
not.
Rim.
Thank you. I was brain farting.
Watching that this
you know,
morning.
which but again, it's still, it's very much story driven,
Yeah.
and he always creates great characters and great interwoven story.
Yep.
It's just in a different era and just addressing something that isn't. I feel like this is something that normally he would produce,
Mm-hmm.
but in this situation, he wrote and directed it, and I think it's
I agree.
it's a little
Yeah.
bit of an offshoot off
One of
his
his
normal
few
stream.
babies that he'll be like, I want to
Yeah.
do all.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But that's what I love about the guy is that I feel like he's like the Dave Grohl of fucking writing and making movies. So Dave Grohl apparently has like this library of all these different guitar riffs that he just that he creates and he fucking records, and he's got in a bank that he uses in different songs as he
Sure.
writes different songs. Right? 'Cause he talked about this when he was on Stern one time, and I feel like Guillermo is like the same. Is that he's got like this huge bank of fucking stories that he's ready to turn into something. He just needs the time and to get to each one of them.
Right.
You know?
I have my
I think he's got a lot of runway of cool shit to come.
Guillermo's story of like I was at a film festival where he was at, and it was like shout out.
Is he tall? Or I feel like
He's fairly short. He's like I think
like
he's
5'7"?
5'8", 5'9",
Okay.
yeah. But like I was at a
not George R. Martin short though.
I don't know how short is George.
I feel like he's like 5'5" or 5'6".
He just
They
looks
look
like
a lot
Santa
alike,
Claus.
too,
Now that you say that,
actually.
I was like, wait,
I
who am
kind
I
of
thinking
see
of?
these as long lost.
Well, now that you say
twins.
that, I'm like, am I visualizing Peter Jackson or am I Peter Guillermo? Like I'm getting them all confused.
Well, and the other thing is, are you visualizing chubby Peter Jackson from Frighteners era?
yes, I am.
Or are you
The
envisioning
current-
slimmer one?
Yeah, because he's like dropped down. Like, and now I'm like Jonah Hill when he's older. What does he look like? You know, like I'm like, what do all these guys got? Anyways, no, I was at Fantastic Fest in Austin like a few years back. Like I'd say like 2016, 2017, and he was there. I forgot what movie he was promoting. But
Pacific Rim 2?
it might have. No, it wasn't Pacific Rim. Anyways, he was just there. But they had at this festival they do it's called Fantastic Debates, and what they do is they do it in a big boxing venue, and they bring all these people free alcohol, you drink, and they
Hey,
have this boxing ring.
Take note of this.
Yeah, they have a boxing ring in the middle, and they get different people to come in and debate. Like different filmmakers come in and debate topics, and this topic is Pacific Rim a good movie? Because a bunch of people, it's a yes no. A lot of people hate that movie too. And these two filmmakers were debating it, and Guillermo was like in the audience, front and center, and I was like watching him, and everyone's like, "Oh man!" And the filmmakers were shouting him out and pointing at him.
I want to
throughout
have, first of all, I want to have these people on the show.
well, I was gonna say after they debate, referee comes in and goes, "It doesn't matter what they even say. Now we fight," and they do like 3 rounds of boxing. And these guys are not boxers; they just like swing that they wear.
I've heard
swords.
someone has mentioned this show
It's,
before.
well,
I
like
think maybe
they
it
get
was-
celebrities to do it. So like Keanu Reeves came in one year and actually boxed and debated and fought Tim League, who runs the festival, I believe, and Elijah Wood has done it. And
I want to see Elijah Wood box Justin Trudeau.
Oh, well, so what they've been trying to do, and they've talked to Daniel they've been wanting because
Radcliffe and
Radcliffe and that because so
and
Elijah's he's part of the festival, like he's
Frodo versus Harry.
So they've been trying to get that organized, but Daniel Radcliffe hasn't come out yet. But anyways, that's my Guillermo quick story.
How many?
He's too busy making his Weird Al movie, yo.
Right?
How many geeks out of 10 do you give Nightmare?
I thought it was a solid 7.5.
Yeah,
That's
I think I
lower
gave it
than-
an 8.
I'd give
when
it
I
an
saw
8 as well.
Yeah. All right.
I think it's because I watched it I had to watch it in 3 little bits.
Right.
I think if I'd watched the entire thing together and had the
Yeah.
whole flow of it,
Yep.
and if I'd seen it in the theater instead of in my house,
Yep.
I probably would have given it a higher score. Because I feel like it's a movie that needs to be watched in the theater
Yep.
or 85-inch fucking Samsung HDR glory.
I saw.
Oh, that movie, that Willem Dafoe movie, The
It's The
Tasmanian
Hunter.
is The Hunter.
I found it too. Actually, I was. Yeah.
I've never heard of
Watch
It's a great
I-
fucking movie.
Interesting.
It's basically him almost by himself, like just tracking shit through the fucking Tasmanian fucking wilderness, which is cool.
I could tell you guys to watch Bad Vegan and just experience it. It's another one of those you're a fucking moron, and we've made a documentary about how you believe some really stupid shit. One of the lines from it, they actually say that she thought her dog would become immortal by letting this man into her life and create an immortal animal for her. Like it gets so in the deep, but it's just a show you should watch because it is falling down the
The dog
same.
will become immortal if we go to the dog festival in the Chinese province and eat it.
Sure. Or if you give this guy $1.7 million of your
What?
life savings. And
First off, that's a lot of money
it's
to
a
save.
fuck ton of money. It's such a sad story. Her name eludes me right now, but she
Was she older?
No, she's very young. She
So was that an inheritance or something? That money?
No, it was hard-earned money.
Oh, cool.
It was loans that she took out. It was
Oh,
shortchanging
crazy.
her restaurant staff.
Tinder swindler.
Very Tinder swindler.
Yeah.
Same vein.
Yeah,
Anyways, I don't want to go. I'm just saying everybody you should give it a chance because
It's a feature.
it's a 4-part doc.
Okay.
Pretty easy to consume and just shocking. Good long hour chunks. So give that a shot. But the one that I was really surprised by was Spencer, and I'm not a big fan of the monarchy at all whatsoever. But it's Diana's biopic done by Pablo Larraín. Pablo Larraín? Yeah. I think
What
that's how you say it.
streaming services is
It's
Spencer?
on Amazon Prime actually, and
Oh, I
it's
didn't
not
even know.
extra. You don't have to pay. It's
Hell
included.
yeah.
So it's the 10 days. It's 10 years into her marriage. It's the 3 days over Christmas, and you are exposed to the silliness that the monarchy is. But she is at her breaking point. She's going fucking nuts, and that's what you see in the movie is the 3 days. And it's this. Speaking of film noir, it's got this sexy jazz soundtrack to it that plays so well into her mania and her like whenever she's going crazy, it's like big simple bashing and trumpets going off, and just like a cacophony of
so it's
sound.
kind of frantic.
It's very frantic, but it's frantic from her perspective, and all it is like her with one of the servants or her with the butler. Like she's very isolated. She's by no means accepted by the family at this point, and she's talking about how the queen is like coming up with a plan to maybe Vegas style her, dig a hole.
Who plays her? in
Kristen
that?
Kristen
Stewart.
Stewart.
That's where I saw an interview with Kristen Stewart, and they actually talked about the soundtrack.
It's
How good the soundtrack was.
The soundtrack is absolutely fantastic. Her mannerisms are perfect, Diana. It's scary because they actually find like they make the costumes from I imagine they were very similar to other. They were what Diana wore in different parts of her life. They just accumulated them for the film, and because the Queen is such a nut job for tradition, I think Diana changes like 17 times over the course of 3 days. Like there's a breakfast outfit and a lunch outfit and a dinner outfit. And that's part of her spiral is she doesn't know where she is because she doesn't know what the fuck she's wearing because she's never in the same thing for more than 2 hours. And there's this pearl scene.
Are you listening to this, Canadian MPs? Maybe it's time we get rid of the monarchy.
You know what? I honestly now I want to watch The Crown a little bit
I do
more.
too, because
like
of this.
it
Yeah.
really, it's done as a film noir. It's like a thriller. The love that Diana has for her
Now
kids
you seeing why
is
Meghan
there.
and Harry?
Oh, you totally get it.
Oh,
like
yeah.
you watch this for and like the guy who plays Charles is such a fucking asshole.
We're a minority, by the way. Like this movie isn't like critically like it's okay. Like, but it wasn't like a favorite when it came out. Like,
Yeah, no,
which I loved it. Which I'm surprised. Like why? I'm confused why other people don't love it as much. They love Kristen Stewart, but the movie itself, people are like haven't really loved for some reason.
Because it's taboo.
Well, I think it's because they're comparing it to The Crown. The Crown kind of did it.
Yeah, I think and it's also based on tapes that she smuggled out in one of her final interviews about her biography. Like it's the unofficial biography that the
interesting.
Queen and the castle said we do not
Condone.
we don't condone this at all.
Yeah.
So
Good thing
there
they're
is
not that powerful anymore.
like there could be some possible stretching, but it's her perspective of how she felt what they were putting her through and just her bad mental health during
Right.
that stage. And then she just takes off and and says fuck it, leave it all behind. So I give it
How many Diana crowns?
I want it.
How many speeding limousines out of 10?
I was actually gonna say how many crash Mercedes in an underpass. Too soon?
How many doties?
How many scarecrows?
How many scare? Nice. There's a scarecrow in it. That's a good call. Yeah, I'll give it.
How many paparazzi?
How many? I'll go. How many scarecrows? It's 8 out of 10 for scarecrows. It's a 10 out of 10 for her portrayal. She gets a 10 from me.
I
So
want her
she's
to win
spot
the
on?
Oscars.
I want her to win the Oscar for.
I don't
Best
think she
Actress.
will. I think I want her to. But I think it's going to be Nicole, unfortunately.
Yep.
But
have you seen the Ricardos?
I have.
I've seen a third of it. I love it already. I need to.
That's
It's all right.
because Kristen Stewart will never get past playing.
Well, see,
Bella.
I
They
don't
hold
know.
it over her. They
I,
really
I,
do.
I don't see. It's
Just like Jim Carrey will never win an Oscar because he talked out of his ass.
Yeah.
you might.
Can
be
I
right.
ask you a few questions?
May I ask you a few questions?
It-
He also crawled out of a rhino ass in the sequel too.
Oh god, that was so great. That's really the only good part of that movie. The second one's kind of but that part. Look, the rhinos having babies.
Did you did you see that interview with Jim Carrey where he went into how Jim Carrey is
A character?
a character and a creation of himself? Like that was really deep.
He's super meta now.
Yeah.
It's like
He's-
he's broken 5 walls within his own subconscious, and he's like swimming now. So it's like
He found a fifth wall to break.
Yeah.
Anyway, so check out
He's
Spencer.
amazing.
Check out some crazy
I kn-
Diana.
I know it's Mark's turn, but can I throw one more thing I watch, and I really want everyone to watch it.
Sure.
Okay, it's a film. It's 70 minutes long. It's on Amazon Prime. You'd have to rent it. I'm sure other people can find it on different platforms. It's called Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes. And I'm just going to really read the thing. A cafe owner discovers that the TV in his cafe suddenly shows images from the future, but only 2 minutes into the future. The movie is probably one of my favorite time travel movies I've seen in like years. It's like Primer, but even better and confusing because 2 minutes into the future on a monitor and what you can do with that is this movie is one of the most creative movies. Like I don't even know how they made it is one of those things. And
Is it Japanese?
It's Japanese. 70 minutes worth the $4 rental. Oh, wait, I rented it on YouTube actually. So highly recommend it. Please watch it.
How much?
$5.
That's nothing.
Exactly.
I'll
You know what?
totally
It's
rent
funny.
it.
It's funny though. I'll go on a Prime or something, and it's not available. I'm looking for a specific movie, and I got to pay $4.99 to rent it. And sometimes you're like, $4.99. But then I think back to going to Blockbuster,
Exactly.
and I would go there sometimes 3 or 4 or even 5 times in a week, and spend $10 each time, and not even bat an eye.
I will gift this
Yeah.
to people if they want to watch.
I think we are
hear
so
that?
spoiled by
Ladies and
streaming.
gentlemen, he's going to rent you a video.
Wow.
in this room.
Oh,
In this
there's a
room.
Stipulation.
Oh,
All right.
excellent,
Well,
excellent.
Mark, you've been so fucking quiet over there. So would
You know what? I'm just let you guys go because I'm going to contribute basically nothing to this
Oh,
conversation.
okay. All right. All
I
right.
have consumed so little media in the last little while.
Yeah, but you were away on a trip
and
for a
the
minute.
only
and-
thing that I
and-
consumed is almost embarrassing to talk about.
No, it's not. Not here. This is a safe space.
What was it?
Because I've just been kind of zoning out watching.
Did you
it,
finally watch The Matrix?
No, not movies. It's so embarrassing.
Come on, do it.
So
Do it.
embarrassing.
I've been watching Veronica Mars.
Hell yeah.
Hell, I knew. See, I knew
Veronica Mars
this.
is so good.
I've been
the
watching-
first 3 seasons are
Yeah,
amazing.
I'm into the third season,
Yeah.
just binging Veronica Mars. And
Fuck it
loving
being
it.
new.
A close connection for me is
and-
I watched the 2 Frozen movies the last week.
Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
there you go.
Like,
Yeah, I don't
it's-
know. I just been into it.
I've actually never watched it.
It grabbed
It's
my
very good.
attention, and it's sort of campy in the fact that it's like, how did I describe it to somebody? It was like Beverly Hills 90210 meets Nancy Drew
Yep.
meets
21 Jump Street?
like fucking Scream or
Yeah,
something,
kinda.
because it's like a teenage high school comedy where she's solving mysteries, but the mysteries are like the fucking murder of her best friend, but she just solves it in a school day. Like it's not little crimes.
Well, it's taken like the Buffy approach of like Monster of the Week, but it's just a mystery. Like it's the same idea as Buffy.
Like
in
who
my
fucking
opinion.
murdered 9 students on a bus?
Yeah.
Like holy shit.
A crime is a crime, though.
Like
is
I was-
Kristen Bell better in that or better in Heroes?
Kristen Bell is awesome
She is
in
not in
anything she
Heroes.
does,
But
and that's not Kristen Bell in Heroes.
that's not Kristen
That's
Bell.
Hayden Panettiere?
well, it depends what. No, wait a second.
Kristen,
Kristen Bell
is
she
she's the
played-
Electro one.
She plays the daughter of the
She
scientist.
doesn't come until season 2.
You're right.
I barely remember this.
Yeah, she's the daughter of
Get Out.
What's his name there?
That's
I've
okay.
never
I blame
watched
I
it.
blame the writer's strike.
I loved Heroes.
Lost and Heroes both got a big dick
Both.
in the ass from the writer's strike.
You're
100%.
right. Yeah.
Sorry, back to
So, anyways,
Veronica.
yeah, I love Kristen Bell.
Yeah, that's why.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
I will watch anything by an actor, no matter how silly or embarrassing it is. I like whatever makes you feel good. That's the whole
Whoa,
fucking
whoa,
point of
whoa,
this.
whoa, whoa. Let's rewind that statement.
There's some amazing cameos
big
by people
stick.
that come in and
yeah.
out. Season 2 was a big portion with Steve Gutenberg.
I forgot about that.
The Goots in it?
The
Yeah.
Goots is in it. Yeah. I forgot about that.
it just,
Johnny Five's still alive.
yeah, it was just very pleasing, some of the stuff. I like her. And you know what I got a kick out of is that you watch like more modern stuff and the high school scenes and stuff I don't find myself relating to, but it feels like my high school days
Right.
when they're showing it because of the fashion and stuff, right? Like they're wearing like low-rise jeans with wide legs and
Right.
like Doc Martens and stuff. Like it reminds me of what my high school was, and I can relate to it.
It has a tactile sense.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's what girls dressed like in high school.
Yeah,
And so no, I got a super
I-
big kick out of it.
I will warn you. I believe it got canceled, and that's why it stopped. It doesn't end well, but they made a movie.
Yes.
And the movie's okay.
But I think I've hammered through about 40 episodes in the last 2
Okay.
weeks. So.
Hey, honestly, I think I did that when the first time I watched it. And I watched it like, when it was already canceled and caught up, and it's great. Like I love it, and it's funny. Like I'm not the biggest fan of Kristen Bell, but I've seen a lot of her stuff. Like I've seen majority of Good Place, and I just like.
I'm just a huge fan that she puts up with Dax. Like I'm in her corner for that.
He has a good podcast.
It was.
I've listened to it here and there, but not like religiously.
I liked it when he was trying to earn it, and then he earned it, and then the Spotify, if you're listening, still love you. Please don't fuck us. But like, just being
Analytics.
bought by one of those pod corporations or
Right.
whatever the fuck you hybrid of a name. It does a thing because now you're paid.
You know what the best stuff he does
Not that I don't want to be paid. You
is
can pay me.
Rogan's
Pay us.
anti that shit.
Armchaired and Dangerous.
Isn't that the
Have
podcast?
you watched that one?
Those ones are okay.
It's with the guy, I can't think of his name at the top of my, he does Dark Tourist, where he goes to like,
yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
he does the show with them. The three of them
Oh, I didn't
do
know
a
this.
podcast, and it only is like once a month
Oh,
when they visit like strange phenomenon.
cool.
So they did
Those are
like
interesting.
Deep State and QAnon. The
Cool.
latest, like Birds Aren't Real. They just did the
Interesting.
Havana Syndrome, where people that started in Cuba that were like dignitaries think they're being attacked by a sonic weapon.
That's
Yeah,
right.
right.
They
And
were
now
getting
it's
sick and
spread,
stuff, yeah.
and it's basically about a social panic, and people read it and then they think they get it. Like they're basically getting it from hearing about it.
right.
Not hearing it, just hearing
Yeah,
about it.
but hearing about it, they're like, that's what I have. It's like when you like somebody
the
says I'm
frequencies
sick,
are
and then you
outside
feel
of it.
sick.
Yeah.
But this is like you're not even with the person. You're just, well, that must be what I have, and then
Right.
it's
I read a newspaper.
this
Must be me.
strange social panic. But yeah, no, it's that's what I was watching. It was Veronica Mars all the way. And now that I'm halfway through, I have to finish.
Well, yeah, of course.
So
you
when
do.
I have an extra hour, I have to watch it. Like I get obsessed with something,
Yeah.
and now I
How many
can't.
seasons are there?
Now I can't interrupt. There's
4,
four
right?
seasons of like 22 episodes.
Can I ask you a
Four
question
in a
though? Is
movie.
it because a lot of times you get a series that has 4 or 5 seasons, and the first 2 are awesome, 3 is pretty good, and then 4 just starts going shitty, and then
The
then
OC.
sometime-
That's a good example of the OC, in my opinion.
it's very
With the nice
Gossip
thing I
Girl.
like is
Gossip
they
Girl,
take
yeah.
one big event per season that is like the ongoing long
The overall-
mystery.
okay. So there is an ongoing thing. I
yeah,
was
so
gonna
she
ask
sort
about
of
that.
solves the little mysteries every episode, but then you have
Is
the
there a
long-
story arc that transcends episodes
Yes.
as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Those
Is
are
it as
great
good as
because you get-
Fringe?
Yep.
I never watched
Fringe.
I heard Fringe had a huge following, but Veronica Mars had a huge following too.
Dude,
like,
Fringe is
huge.
fucking
There was a show-
awesome.
There was a show Profiler that I loved that had that. It was about an FBI profiler, and they would like catch guys here, but then there was like a serial killer that was like taunting them the whole series. It was
Right.
awesome.
That's good.
What-
I like that kind of stuff.
I was just Veronica Mars fans were so big, and like it was a huge following that they were the ones that the reason why they got the movie because they crowdfunded that movie. Majority
Yes.
of it.
Oh, that's
It was like a
Oh, cool.
$2 million movie that they made in the end, or something like
She's-
very small.
She's so snarky in it. I just enjoy the
Oh.
the attitude.
well,
that
because
she
she's
has.
such she's such a Disney prodigy now, right? That like you go back to her early work and you get to see like it's nice to. I'm just saying, it's nice to see her resume.
Yes.
No,
I love Forgetting
I
Sarah
don't understand
Marshall.
what you're getting at.
Oh yeah, so good.
I love her in Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah,
and
that's
I
my
see a
favorite
lot of
thing.
her-
of her.
She's so good in that.
Yeah.
movie.
That's my favorite part of her.
No, I just mean that
not pass.
as soon as you start working for Disney, you have to watch your mouth. You can't, you work for the
Well,
big
that's-
Disney.
Yeah, at that
machine.
time, and then you become Ryan Gosling and awesome.
Well,
I
that's
see. I don't
true,
even
yeah.
know if that still applies as much because I remember that
It-
did
it-
happen
it-
to Anne Hathaway.
It,
Remember
it
that?
it does up to a certain point, and then
Yeah.
you break away.
'Cause
I think it's when you're a kid.
Anne Hathaway starred in a movie called Havoc at some point, like a few years after like Princess Diaries 2 came out, and Disney was so annoyed or something. Like I read all these things where they were not happy because they were kind of coming out very close, and she was topless in this movie, like
Yeah,
and, like sex scenes and stuff.
it does. Disney does background checks, is what I'm saying. It
Interesting.
kind of.
So the reason that I got to Veronica Mars, just to quickly finish my thing and I'll be done, is that Kristen Bell released The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window.
Right.
One more time,
Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window.
Ian. You didn't hear it, did you?
The what?
The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window.
It's basically ripping off every Hitchcock
Oh,
movie.
I've seen. I've
yeah,
seen the
we
first few episodes.
we tried 2, and then I was like, not having.
I
it.
watched. I
So,
watched about 2. Of them, yeah.
We were gonna watch it. Kristen
Okay.
wants to watch it with me,
Okay.
and then we didn't have time. So because I was already psyched to watch some Kristen Bell, then I found another Kristen Bell thing,
You just kept going.
and
Hard
and now I'm
charging.
lost.
Yeah.
So
Down Kristen Bell hole.
And then it's the
You
good
should
place
be
after.
you should become Frozen.
and I love the I love the detective thing. Like we're talking about film noir. Like
yeah.
yeah.
Everybody loves that shit.
there's
'cause-
that
'cause-
aspect of the detective agency in Veronica Mars.
Well, you know who the world's greatest detective is?
Batman.
Obviously.
We saw it.
Veronica Mars. Yeah. I don't know. I honestly was gonna
The
say
Hardy
Veronica Mars.
Boys.
Yeah.
Encyclopedia Brown.
Yeah. Sherlock.
Was Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys written by the same person?
Yeah.
It must have been.
But it was a woman that wrote both, and she had to use a pseudonym, right? Because a woman's name wasn't allowed to be on a boy's boys' book.
Oh,
Oh,
maybe.
so
Back
she
then,
ghostwriter
yeah.
kind of thing.
That's
No, a
funny.
pseudonym.
Oh, so the other thing.
Yeah, that's where you use it differently. Yeah.
How-
Ghostwriters is like when you're like Trump.
How many
And you can't stand it for
Bell
your own
shows are
No,
there?
he's illiterate.
She's been in a lot of shows.
Like, okay, the one you said.
She did Veronica Mars.
Yeah.
She did, like
She was in Heroes.
Heroes. Okay.
We have confirmed, yes.
yes, she was in The
Good-
Good Place.
Yeah. She's
as a
in
regular.
Yeah.
The show. Say the show.
The woman in the street, woman in the house across the street from the girl in the window.
One more
Okay,
time.
That's 4.
She was in some Disney show back prior to that, wasn't she?
I think she's in like 1 or 2 more type of shows.
Yeah,
like,
she's been in lots of
series, like legit.
She
full
has a new
series.
sing-along series coming out on Disney.
Oh,
You know,
she's
she
in-
also has
she's a-
that game show.
The game show.
That's
yeah.
right.
with
Yeah.
Dax.
With-
You know
yeah.
you know why you think she's in a series too is because Sarah Marshall was
Yeah.
actually in that cop series that is
Oh.
in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and it's also in Get Him to the Greek.
Right.
So it's that
It's the-
continuous.
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
that
It's that
same
game.
universe.
yeah, kind of like CSI.
It's the fictional series they acted.
That's funny.
How many?
Oh, she's in the new Gossip Girl.
Oh yeah, she is. She's the voice.
Yeah.
She's doing everything. She's a very
She's
talented
in- yeah.
person.
Hey, Upper East Siders.
Hey,
Hey,
XOXO.
How many high school murders do you give it out of 10?
Can I give one? How many Mars bars?
How many Mars
Oh.
bars?
Go with.
Oh, she's
go
in
with
Big
you.
Mouth
You know,
Oh.
God,
for
she's
4
in everywhere.
episodes.
You know what? I'm gonna give it a solid as a whole series so
Yeah.
far. I'm gonna give it like an 8.
Nice.
It's
8.
good. It's solid.
What?
Yeah.
She's in a TV show
8
called
8
Deadly
bells.
Manners.
That's pretty good. 8 bells.
8 bells.
8 bells
Nice.
out of 10.
Oh, she was in House of Lies. Kristen
Oh
Bell
yes,
was.
House of
Oh,
Lies.
right.
That
Which
was
is-
such
which
a
is
good
which is
series.
really
That's like
good.
the Don Cheadle
Oh,
one,
that
right?
Yeah.
was amazing. Loved
How many
it.
networks has Kristen Bell worked for?
All of them.
All of them.
HBO.
But she's like America's sweetheart. In a
She
sense.
is.
Yeah.
She's like low key one of the biggest female stars.
Yeah.
Right
Well,
now.
now that's what I'm asking. I'm like, she must be like worth quite a bit of money.
Well, $2 billion movies in Frozen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Oh,
That
she,
alone.
and
She
she
has-
was the voice in the original Gossip Girl too.
Yeah.
She has.
she's a fucking, she's a Disney princess.
she's a Disney princess.
She's huge in the like Broadway crowd,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
Josh Gad and her like really close, and a lot of the
She has a lifestyle brand for kids, I think. Too,
Hello
with
Bello.
the
She
Hello
was
Bello,
she
yeah.
was part of a big Samsung campaign with Dax.
oh yeah, the washing
Yeah,
machines. I
the
remember.
Washing
Yeah.
machines and Family Hub for a
because
couple
they
years.
wanted
yeah.
to kill the kids or something
Right.
in,
Yeah.
in the commercial.
They
That
did
was,
one. I think they did. No. They
She was
did
in
one with,
Deadwood.
Oh,
Whoa, I didn't know
Was
that.
she?
She
Yes,
was
she
Petrow.
was. She
Yeah.
was. Oh my God, she was a child prostitute in Deadwood.
No way.
She was. She was one of the young girls brought to the town, and then the madam of the town was like, "This is what you're gonna have to do. This is how you do it," and like teaches her how to go along because
Interesting.
her brother is like off trying to mine for gold or something and doesn't know this is like trying to find gold so he can come and rescue her and take her away because it's
She's
the only way
had,
they can
like-
make money.
I didn't realize she was like acting that long. Like crazy.
I can't
Hey.
think of small town prostitute without thinking of fucking Sarah Silverman and 1,000 Ways to Die in the West.
I think that might be what this might be based on, like that
It's
scenario.
So funny.
Ugh.
Oh, Jim's up in room 2. He wants anal today. and
She was also in the movie Pootie Tang.
She-
oh wow.
Everybody has a dark spot on their resume.
Pootie Tang.
Anywho,
So let's get into the rest of the show. Mark it down, take it off the docket there, Ian. And first things first, I thought this one would be a fun topic because it's a scenario that I'm always like a little afraid of spider season because Shauna is so afraid of spiders she'll actually burn the house down if she sees one to get rid of the spider. So
You should watch Arachnophobia with her.
it's like
Oh,
any
creepy movie.
spider.
That's so
There's a
creepy.
filter on TikTok right now where like you put it on someone's face and a spider
Oh, I
just
love
crawls
that.
out
I
from
love that
behind their
TikTok,
head.
yeah.
I have yet to do it to her, but I know I'll eat a punch. Anyways, point is that I thought, well, if my house burnt down, all my clothes would be gone, and then what the fuck would I wear? And then I thought, well, there's that part in Baby Daddy not Baby Daddy, Big Daddy, Baby Daddy. Thinking about my childhood life.
Dak Shepard, baby dad.
Baby there it is.
Yeah,
Thank you. In Big Daddy, when he lets him wear whatever he wants to
Oh, yeah,
school.
Yeah.
So these things started churning in my head for inspiration. Plus, we talked to Lewis from Nightmare Alley for costumes. So that if your house burns down, you only get to pick 3 outfits. What costumes do you want? So the first one was like a really cool, like superhero, stupid, crazy, fun costume. And then the other one was like a normal, like, what do you want to dress like? You got to go everywhere kind of thing. And then like the third one was like a stupid fucking, like, what doesn't matter, just over the top. idiocy kind of thing. So we'll start. Ian, you go first because you've been away so long that people need to hear you talk.
Okay, so I made notes because I was gonna forget things.
Because it's just me and you. Me and you love the notes.
Well, it's easier, right? Like
It
sometimes,
is.
sometimes I can't.
I didn't
okay.
have time.
That's fine. I know
Okay.
you'll do fine, or you'll call it in on the way home.
I'm the talent that wants to wear an earpiece.
Okay, so and like my superhero costume,
Yeah.
I went very basic in a sense because I went Iron Man because I get to wear my regular clothes underneath.
That's the play. Okay.
And I get to fly around and I feel protected and I get to come in it like it's like a car.
Iron Man always wins.
He kind of does.
He
I
does.
know. Like,
Summer camp
summer
stuff.
everything. Like, well, because I kept thinking Iron Man 3 where he literally suit's like sitting there. He parks it, gets out, has like lunch, gets back in his suit and flies away.
Billy
Well, he doesn't
Bear's
even have to
always
get
winning.
out of the. It
he
just
doesn't have
flips
to.
open.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
can just
You can
Yeah,
do
that's
so
the
much.
caveat.
And you know what's great about it too is you can it probably has a system in there to process your shit and your piss.
Oh, probably. for sure.
Guaranteed.
And
Into
to-
water.
to refunction it like in Dune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Waterworld.
With the
but-
new nano
that.
suit, I'm pretty sure you can just it'll turn into other clothes if you want it.
Oh yeah, I want that. I want that.
The
That's my super
nanotech.
suit.
No, you already picked.
No,
You-
I get the suit.
You can't leech off of his idea.
I
That's not how
slightly
this
altering
works.
it to nanotech. Iron Man
Everything
suit.
I say is nanotech. My AK casual wear
Yeah.
is the Scott Pilgrim look because it's basic and easy. It's a t-shirt, it's jeans, it's my Converse.
Yeah.
I love those things. It's how I live my life in general.
You could throw a suit jacket on if you had to
Yeah.
zhuzh
I feel
it
like he
up.
wasn't dressed warm enough for Canadian winter.
He wasn't.
Environment.
And they
he's in
did-
Toronto.
I know it's not that cold, but he
He
was.
wears a
But
suit
it's
sometimes.
a wet cold there. That's what everyone in GTA
It's
says.
so
It's a
true.
wet
It's so
cold.
true.
Feel it
Get
in
the
my
fuck out of
bones.
here.
He puts a toque on.
Yeah, I know.
He wears a scarf. I don't know. In
Anyway.
general, that's my look because it's hipster.
Yeah.
And then my outrageous look. I want a coat made of 101 Dalmatians.
Oh,
And that's it. Or 25 puppies.
Can I
from
ask you a question?
Simpsons.
If somebody had already made the coat and it had been worn for generations, and then you got it, does that make it less cruel?
No comment.
I'm asking for a friend.
I can't get canceled.
I picked Doctor Strange for my superhero costume.
You want a cape?
I want a cape. I want something that
So does my
that-
3-year-old.
that fucking doubles for like a party gag,
Yeah.
right? Like it really is. It's function and fashion.
Yep.
And you
right.
also love the carpet from Aladdin. Let's be honest.
I
And That's
do.
basically what that cape
I'm a
is.
big fan of inanimate objects.
It has a life of its own.
right,
Pretty much.
Yeah,
know,
it's true.
carpet.
Exactly.
They
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
even give him a name. It's just
Yeah.
carpet. But
Well, that's
So-
his name.
Carpet.
so, anyways, and then
Carpe
I also
diem.
thought like
I love rug. Sorry.
his costume isn't insanely over the top.
Yeah.
Who? Doctor Strange?
Doctor Strange. It's
It's
pretty
pretty
big-
over the top.
big
dude.
necklace.
Yeah.
it's very Carmertagian. I get it,
Yeah.
right?
And they don't do his like in like the live action or like Avengers movie. They don't do his like facial hair justice like they do in the comics.
Yeah.
No, it's very
Settled down,
lacking
yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and settled. Yeah, it's not over the top comedy, but I figured festivals, concerts, parties, like 50-50 split. Half of me is going to be somewhere where it's going to be awkward, but the lifestyle that I
So are you
lead,
saying that this is both superhero and casual wear? Gotcha.
it can play as both.
I wear a cape
Yeah.
for casual wear.
Yeah, for badass like a cool style, I really want to dress like Billy Butcher.
Oh.
I wanna walk around in a trench coat and a Hawaiian jacket. Billy Butcher from the Boys.
I'm
Always,
well aware.
yeah.
How dare you feel like you have to explain that to this room?
Sorry, I just
How stoked are you that he gets powers?
I
Anyway,
am
go on.
so excited. Well, Martin told me about Diabolical recently, which is like the spin-off other story of it, which I've got on my list.
I haven't
to
had
watch.
I haven't had a chance to watch it either. Yeah.
But just Billy Butcher, it's just that I feel that I would all the manliness that I'm lacking.
I feel like Billy Butcher always smells though like
he
like
would smell
like
blood,
like leather,
Violence.
blood, and like onions or
death.
something.
Yeah, or like a hot dog,
Yeah.
right? Because he doesn't sit down for a dinner. He
Wow, I just went from 6 to 12.
He'd smell the same as the leprechaun from American Gods.
oh Yes.
Not the leprechaun from Leprechaun.
Yes.
Which is Jennifer Aniston's first movie. Fun
It
fact.
is.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
true
I didn't know
fact. Yeah. What the fuck's that's Liv Shriver's brother.
Yes.
Fucking.
I don't remember his
what?
name.
Something Shriver. But yeah, they would smell the same. They would smell like a pot of gold. And then my last
pot of gold?
my last outfit, my over the top, my like ta-da, I'm here. Give me some Lloyd Christmas orange tuxedo.
Oh, nice.
Oh man,
Any
that's such a
day.
good one.
Right? Like
I prefer beige jacket, frozen snot, but I'll take the tuxedo.
That's such a
crotch
good
frozen
one.
to back on the
Yeah,
back
yeah.
of a
That's
bicycle.
really good.
I'm assuming the
It was a moped.
the high vis for you to wear to work.
Yes, it doubles in the construction
Yeah,
world,
yeah, yeah.
right? I can step onto to
Absolutely.
a site. I can hang out.
You know
at
what? As long as the shoes are steel shank and steel toes, you're good to go.
Yeah,
You're
it's just
good to go.
OSHA certified, right? There was a tie though. It was either that, or do you remember when he's in the bar and he meets the girl and he's got the big long gloves on
Yeah,
with
the
thing, and then
tassels,
like
yeah.
the big
Yeah.
Oh,
10-gallon
yeah,
hat. That was
that
that
part's
either
great.
that
Yeah.
either of that could have played, but
Very good.
I mean, once I'm outside of Colorado, it really doesn't serve too much purpose. So there's my like. Well, that's what I'll wear.
We're
Rob,
going to Aspen.
Mark, let's go about you.
For the superhero costume, clearly Batman. For 3 reasons. Number one,
Batarangs.
I want bat everything, right? The bat belt that has bat everything on it. It's like having your desk around your waist, right?
Yeah, I can see that.
So I'm wearing it to work. Number 2, he is the world's greatest detective. I'm a detective at work.
Yeah.
And he wears a cowl.
You
he
actually
wears a
are.
cowl.
He wears a cowl, and why?
My namesake.
Oh, well played, clever man.
The points don't really ever
Are they
matter
spelled
here,
the same
but-
way?
Fuck, that's
No,
a good call.
COWL
I
is
know,
the
I know.
cowl.
But that cowl, like, you know, that cowl doesn't turn, right? Like
Yes.
you'd be turning your whole desk around.
Yeah.
That
That's
cowl.
why you're in
That
a spinny
cowl
chair.
has a scowl.
Spinny chair. So yeah, I want all the bat gadgets.
Yeah, you do.
I think that'd be
Where
really
does he
handy
get
at
all
work.
those toys?
Okay. What one major bat gadget would you need?
Shark repellent.
God.
I was
Yeah,
hoping
you always
somebody
need
was
some
going to
shark
say.
repellent. I don't. Yeah, that's a tough one.
It's
I don't-
batarangs. Everybody knows
It's the
that.
squirrel suit from the Batman.
There's always like a bat pill for something, right? Like he's always got like certain little
Ecstasy.
like a little antidote for everything.
Yeah.
Oh, the Spanish flu. What is it? I watched the Bill Cosby doc recently.
Okay. What else?
Just a
Well,
regular
that would be
one.
Hypno.
yeah.
I don't know why it popped in my head. There's nothing about the outfit that I really like per se.
About
But I thought
Batman's?
about my office where I need to. No, my
the
regular
casual?
one
Casual wear.
is that popped in my head because the guy who works across from me, I always bug him that he looks like this all the time. And it just popped in my head. I'm like, well, I might as well dress like him. It just works in the office. Is Michael Douglas's character from Falling Down?
Does he come in an Uzi?
What's in the suitcase?
That's so
With the
funny.
short sleeve
The
dress
short-
shirt?
you're
Right?
Frank Grimes.
Yes.
the Frank
Grimy.
Grimes look, yeah.
So grimy.
I also
Such a-
always imagine like the yellow antiperspirant stains.
That's
Yeah.
so,
People wear those
that's
shirts?
so funny.
Yes. It was also the Sipowicz outfit from NYPD Blue.
Yeah.
Yes.
You remember he
Yeah.
A short sleeve.
with the tie, the short sleeve dress shirt with the tie is a
That would look badass with you though, because you got fucking you got
Yeah.
a sleeve.
It's
Yeah.
also like very Fight Club esque, like in a way.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you know, it's like when he goes to the
Very
office.
Edward Norton Fight
Very-
Club.
yeah.
yeah, totally. Yes. Oh yeah, when he beats the piss out of himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then over the top, I couldn't really get the over the top outfit because Batman was my
I
choice.
thought honestly you were gonna say Over the Top, like the movie.
Oh,
Over
that
the
would be
Top, like
good.
the outfit from Over the Top. I thought you were
Turn your head.
I thought you were playing a play right now. I was like, this is gonna
Yeah.
be great.
No, I couldn't really think of anything, and the first stupid thing that came to mind was Rocket Man with Elton John's outfits. So I'm going to be wearing something along that lines
That's perfect.
It's just a bright colored bird suit.
with some horns. Yeah, I dig it. If
I-
I'm going to show off, I might as well show off.
You might as well fucking peacock.
Yeah.
Right.
I legit when it's funny because when people say Rocket Man, I forget about that movie, and I think of the movie with
Rocketeer.
The Rocketeer.
No. I would love that movie. There's another movie, I believe it's also called Rocket Man with Harold Williams, the comedian Harold Williams. Oh man, it's like a Disney movie about this guy that goes to space with a monkey.
Oh, I don't remember that.
It's a very dumb movie, but like it's
Okay.
also, I believe, called Rocket Man. And I was thinking, like, man, you're pulling a really deep
That
cut.
might be the story of the first monkey in space.
No, it's not. It's just a really dumb movie.
Oh, okay.
I
I was
really
trying to
wish-
give it some credit there.
And now I'll have to look it up while you guys talk.
Rob, what's in your closet?
Okay.
What's left?
So I consider Indiana Jones a fucking superhero.
I accept.
So his fedora.
Yeah.
For the regular everyday clothes. So you guys have seen 12 Monkeys,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and when he's in the insane asylum,
Yeah.
and Brad Pitt is wearing this like crushed velvet sweater that looks so fucking comfy.
Yes.
That sweater.
Doesn't he have like a robe over top too, and he's running around? And
I
he's like, games,
I
games,
tried to
games."
find a sweater like that for like 3 years after that movie came out because I was like obsessed and I wanted a sweater that looked like it because it looked like it was so comfy.
Yeah.
And then for outrageous, it's obviously Borat's bathing suit.
That's good.
Wow.
That's great.
You're sitting in a very compromising position. I think I can get this in the video, and I might be able to superimpose that costume over
Yeah.
top of him. Right?
When you started with Indy, I thought you might do like a Harrison Ford triple header
I was thinking about doing it
Oh, that's great.
and go
Yeah.
like something like.
because I do love Han Solo.
Yeah, I was going to say Han Solo at the end.
Yeah.
And then, like, what was the President movie that he was in?
Yeah, like
Air
Air
Force
Force
One.
One.
Air Force One.
All the President's Men.
Yeah.
Or
Air
no,
Force One. He has
Clear and
he's-
Present Danger.
Yeah.
No, his everyday clothes would be the Amish getup that he wears from The Witness.
Oh, yeah. That's another, like...
So many Harrison Ford options.
Yeah.
So
What
many.
lies beneath? He's just the husband.
Just golf shirts
Yeah.
and jeans and
Yeah.
and New Balance.
Yeah.
What do you think you're doing?
Sorry, mine was short and sweet.
Yeah,
and to
no,
the
that's
point.
fine.
Yeah.
That's what you. We're not splitting hairs over here. Okay, out of everybody here, if I had to pick somebody else's, I want to be Rocket Man over here. I really do think that
Rocket Man.
that really expresses who I am. But you're going to the
I'm gonna use the washer.
You're
I
gonna
like
pee.
yours a lot.
Sure, yeah, no, it's a great washroom.
Elton John sure can pull those outfits off, though.
Yeah. So, did we all like Free Guy?
I loved it.
No,
I thought it was good.
Yeah,
I
you
did
didn't?
not.
Really?
I did.
I thought it was fun.
I thought in a time when we needed a good, wholesome story, like some Ted Lasso shit.
It reminded
I
me
thought
of the
was-
Lego movie, kind of. You know how there's like the Lego movie where
I think
he
it's
like
good
he
that
does the
somebody
same
didn't
thing
like
every
it.
day.
I think it's a
Yeah.
good. Like we had like loved, okay, and no.
I didn't say love. I didn't say okay.
I liked it a lot.
Mark
Yeah.
was like.
I'm
it
a
was
bit
fun.
of a-
It was fun.
I worship at the Church of Ryan Reynolds.
So I kind of do.
I don't anymore. I didn't
No?
like Adam Project either. I'm sorry.
That's that's a Netflix film.
But that's
right?
also by the same director.
Sean Levy. I
Yeah.
know it. Well, don't blame the director. Blame the studio. You know, you're a
but
director.
but Free Guy felt like a studio film.
It
Like
was a studio
But it
film.
was
Which
a-
I don't need in my life. I've seen enough of
okay.
them. Like,
All right.
I
That's-
go to Marvel for my
Yeah,
studio
but Ryan,
You're
Ren-
coming
Ryan
from a different
Reynolds.
place.
Ryan
Yeah.
Reynolds is a studio movie guy. He is arguably one of the top 5 actors in the world
That's right.
right
Yeah,
now.
I know. You're right. But I just think like
He's the
movie,
Tom Cruise of our generation, but
it's,
tall.
It's like it didn't even make me laugh. Like The Rock, Taika wasn't good in it. Like I didn't think.
I
Taika was
honestly
very
didn't
funny.
like Taika's character. in
Yeah,
it.
I didn't-
That was the
do
weak
you
point for
game
me.
a lot?
I don't. So that could also be it.
That's
But even their phrases felt very like early 2000. Like they're like you noob. Like they were saying shit like that.
Because that's still used today.
Well
Yeah.
then,
that community.
fuck that community.
You're shitting on a whole community right now.
Fucking
It's all part of the,
Twitchers.
the
You know, like people still say BRT.
video game
Do they?
memes.
Yeah, the thing I think that, and to defend you here,
BRB.
from the mob that will come for you
OMW.
when you leave here, is that
Is this like a cult following that I didn't know?
no,
about?
no. I'm
I
just
was
saying, like, if you play a lot of games, then you like the Channing Tatum insertion about how the Channing Tatum character was
That's
one
the
of
best scene.
That to me spoke to me because I'm the fat nerdy guy wanting to be the handsome guy
Right.
in the video game. Like,
Right.
and those little things in the story was what I really liked about it.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't give Free Guy, like, any cinematic awards
No,
or anything.
no.
And honestly, it was great. And then it did the typical fucking movie ending where, blah, blah, blah. And it was cheese dick at
Save
the
the
very end.
day,
Save the day
everybody
kind of thing.
wins,
But
yeah,
you know what?
yeah,
It was
very
fun.
wholesome.
It was easy. I didn't have to fucking think. And it was exactly the movie I needed when I watched it, which, filled that void. I didn't want to think. It's a non-thinking movie.
It was,
Yeah.
it was
you-
entertaining.
Yes.
entertaining.
Perfect.
It's
okay.
popcorn. No, I get
It's
that
pop.
it's popcorn.
It's popcorn.
No.
Did you guys all freak out when he pulls out the Captain America shield?
No.
What I thought was amazing
touched
was the
myself.
fact that they own the IPs, so he literally could pull out the Captain America shield and then a fucking lightsaber.
But
and then
see, in my
'cause
head,
they
I'm
own
like,
it all.
But in my head, I'm like, this is Ready Player One again.
That's what Ready Player One was so good at, though. Was
Which I did not like Ready
bringing-
Player One either.
Again,
It's not as good as Ready Player One because the difference is Spielberg is a fucking genius. And
I'm
I
not
would
doing
actually,
apples to
I would
apples
go
here with
Free
it.
Guy over Ready Player One.
the Chris Evans cut.
That's 'cause you haven't
cut
read the
there was
book.
I read the
awesome.
book. I
What
swear
the
I read
shit?
The book.
yeah,
Yeah,
Right?
I didn't like the book either.
Well, and
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
that's
I'm not a gamer. Maybe that's why.
it's not
that's
even
where
about.
it is, I think, for you.
But Ready Player One's not just about being a gamer. It's about a dystopian future, right?
True.
Right.
And if you like dystopian future, and I eat that shit up, that is
Right.
by far my favorite thing. Post-apocalyptic, fucked up future, so scared of where everything's going, kind of
Right.
thing.
Nihilism.
I liked
Station
I liked
11.
it, right?
Yeah.
Have
And
you
I-
watched Upload?
Oh fuck, I love it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm mad though?
Upload's a rock show.
How the fuck do you have 10 episodes the first season and then you do fucking 7 for season 2? Fuck you!
I don't
I
think-
want to beat somebody
It
at
didn't-
fucking
It didn't
Prime.
get great numbers the first season. It didn't get amazing.
I thought it was a
numbers.
great show.
I thought it was okay. I haven't watched season 2 yet.
How do you know
niche.
what the numbers are? They don't tell you.
Yeah.
I know because
They
I
told us.
hear
You know what
things.
Netflix says? They go, "Yeah, you're doing pretty good."
Yeah. And you gotta
They
They
trust
don't
that.
tell you shit.
They
Those-
don't
those are
show.
numbers.
They
Yeah.
don't show you how, but they do show you a package. I've seen screenshots of it.
No.
It's very limited. No, if you're a
I'm gonna
filmmaker,
tell
if you're a
you- no,
filmmaker for Netflix, you get insight. You do. They show you how you.
Rogan
trend.
has
They-
even said that he wasn't told shit for his special.
I'm going to tell you right now that it's not Netflix reporting back the numbers of people that watched your show. It's how many people Netflix decided to force feed your show to. It's fucking reverse. It's the tail wagging the dog.
Right.
Because if they would have took a show like Upload or fucking any show and they throw it as number 1 this week, regardless of if it is or not, everybody's going to fucking watch
Or
it.
at
Really?
least,
Okay, I see
or
that.
at least,
Zeitgeist.
a
Right?
1/3 or a 1/3.
If it's a fucking
cross-sectional.
Adam Sandler murder mystery fucking show on a boat,
Yeah.
32 million people are going to watch it opening
Yeah,
weekend.
I agree.
Okay, I
But not
100%
because it's
agree.
worth that.
And
It's
let's be
because they force fed it
honest,
to you.
Prime doesn't have an algorithm to force anything to you. That's why, like, Prime has great shows. It's fucking impossible to find anything on it because it's such a clunky fucking interface.
Was Tiger King good?
No.
No.
No, it's awful.
We got
I never-
force fed it.
I never. You know what?
Tinder Swindler, we got force fed.
I've never seen. I've never seen that show.
right? Inventing
You've never
Anna,
seen
everybody
it.
got force fed it.
Yeah.
So
I
to
didn't
my
watch that, but
to
yeah.
the point of this, if you could be free guy, if you could be an NPC, right, or not even, if you could just insert yourself into,
Can we just keep bashing streaming?
we can go back to it after. Let's go up for a second. So we actually,
I want choice, not AI-driven choice.
The best part of that movie is the NPC like tropes.
Yes.
Like when
Oh,
he's
yeah.
in the bank and he's
Yes.
like, "This is what we do."
this is every day. Over
That
and
was
over.
that was really really good.
those
Have you-
those are the things.
Have you
But
guys ever seen there's this New Zealand comedy troupe called Viva La Dirt, and they do a whole bunch of videos where they make fun of NPC stuff and WoW stuff and first person shooter. Check it out. It's fucking
There's no
hilarious.
Flight of the Conchords.
It's different. It's different humor, but
Ian,
yeah.
you might struggle with this because now you've outed yourself as a non-gamer, so half of our audience has alienated you, but that's fine.
Half the world is alienated
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Well,
Did you know what? Do you know that 52% of the population considers themselves an avid gamer, and that it is almost a 50-50 split between males and females?
I did not care.
You should,
Question is, quickly and soundly,
because movies
hang
make this
on.
much a year, video games make this much a year,
Rob, we'll start with
and
you.
that includes Bollywood.
any game that you play, if you could star as, because essentially that's what Ryan Reynolds' character does. He goes from NPC.
This is a really
to-
hard one for me because I don't play a lot of video games
I
anymore.
know, but the era of games that you came from is what I'm expecting you to pull from. Just like where
2D
I
side
came.
scrollers.
Yeah, Pong. E.T.
Which character would you be in your favorite video game? The right bar?
the ball.
The triangle shape in asteroids.
That cube of color right there.
You know what? If there's,
Yeah.
you know what? I read this last night. and I've been thinking about this continuously. There's for some reason one game keeps popping in my head, and I don't know how familiar you guys are with Nintendo games. I know he is.
I'm very familiar.
Okay, there was a Nintendo original NES game called Bionic Commando,
Oh yeah.
and it's a side-scrolling game, and you have this like arm, and you can swing and shit.
Yeah.
For some reason, that just keeps popping in my fucking
Sure.
head. So Bionic Commando it is.
Yeah.
That was a cool game.
It was a cool game.
What was
And you had all those different missions, and there was
Yeah.
like a map you had to go through
Totally,
and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. Did you play that?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I played like old school games.
Okay.
Like yeah.
So Nintendo
Just
is
now, I'd say I don't. Not a
so
gamer.
NES maybe up to N64 is kind of like your
Yeah,
top.
yeah,
or,
exactly.
Or PS1 maybe.
N64. N64 is basically the peak. PS2 as well, actually. But then like I kind of trailed off.
Yeah,
after
like
that.
Final Fantasy VII is probably, or Final Fantasy
Yeah.
IX. Those are kind of the last games where I spent a lot of time playing.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Other than World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I'd
Sure.
say like Zelda Mask of Majora was like the last big one. You know?
My number one played video game, though, in my entire life is actually Sid Meier's Civilization. I have
Oh, yeah.
spent
I'm not
a
surprised
year
in
of
this
my
list.
life probably playing that fucking game
Like
since
Civ
I was
3, or which one?
all of them.
Oh yeah.
Sim games are
All
fun
of
because
them.
you get to play God, right? You get
Yeah.
to just drop.
I used to play the
some
original
shit.
Civilization when I was like 12.
I was an Age of Empire guy.
Oh, fuck, I love Age of Empires.
I
Command to Conquer. The original
Yeah.
Dune was so fucking good. Westwood Studios, first one they did.
World of Warcraft 3.
Yeah.
I was playing. I was.
Or Warcraft 3.
StarCraft.
Sorry.
That's okay. No.
First real-time strategy's the shit.
This was tough because like Halo is what I came up on. Like I was exposed.
Halo's
to
great.
Master Chief.
Master Chief.
right? Like, do
I've
I
never
wanna...
been great at first-person shooters, though. That's my problem.
First, I couldn't. I've never gotten into strategy. I never got into role playing. I never. I mean, well, not on like the video game screen, but like I never. You know,
Only
just-
in the bedroom.
is there a swing? Sign me up. But so I come from.
Do you have one of
Nintendo
those
as well.
fire alarms that hides like the hook in the ceiling?
No,
Okay.
I don't. I'd be proud of my hook. I'd show you.
What's he hiding it from?
Yeah, really. So
That's not an Airbnb.
But for Nintendo, I want to be Mega Man.
Mega
I wanna
Man's
be
dope.
Mega Man for an afternoon, and they are
That's
making
fair. He
like
was
on that
also
list
cool.
of the ones.
So
that,
which of his powers, which one do you want the most?
I remember utilizing this, like the guy who could jump the highest, like
Right.
when you'd win that one.
Okay.
There was
That's Mega Man 1.
Yeah, Mega
Jump-
Man.
just
Mega
jump
Man
in.
10. I think Mega Man X was what I really remembered well. Who the fuck, man?
I played 1, 2,
Mega Man
3,
2
yeah.
had one power, which was Metal Man, and you
Oh,
shot
yeah.
these metal sprockets.
Yeah.
And then there was also Leaf Man or Wood Man, and you had the leaf shield that you would go on, and you'd have a leaf shield.
I
And you'd be
forgot
like,
about this.
Oh, yeah,
Jesus.
dude.
Mega Man was it was the zero premise.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You
You
were,
need to do more LSD. You'll remember your childhood much more vividly.
but Mega,
I
Mega,
promise you.
Mega
Whether it
Man's-
happened or not, you'll remember
Yeah,
something
yeah.
that you
Absolutely.
believe as your childhood.
I would recommend Ship in the Bottle. It's an internal thing, but we'll explain later. We'll
so
take
Mega
it offline.
Man, eh?
Yeah, Mega Man's. Oh, I also thought ice hockey would be fun too. Do you guys remember Nintendo ice
Yeah,
hockey?
I do, actually.
Like
good.
I can't skate,
Yeah.
but like you'd be like the skinny,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
the
yeah.
medium, and then the fat, and like you could be Poland, Czechoslovakia.
I still prefer
Canada.
Blades of Steel, though.
Blades of Steel was way.
Yeah.
I remember when you learnt the video. Actually, you know what? Maybe a hockey game would be it too, because I can't skate. So if I could do a thing that I'd want to do in real life, and learn it some way, I think being in like Stanley Cup, like '99 or Blades of
93.
Steel, or any. What's the game where you can make Wayne Gretzky bleed from swingers? What
I don't
Sega?
remember. Wasn't that 93?
Was that '93?
That's
NHL
NHLPA
93.
93.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. like
That was the last
something-
one where you could do fighting.
Do fights.
Yeah,
Yep.
you could like lay
And
out
then
Gretzky.
'94 was the first year you could do one-timers, which just took it to the next level.
Yeah, a hockey game would be the other thing.
I
too,
remember
'cause
those
it
were
would-
the Sega Genesis games that had like the thing on the side
Yep.
because they had to have a special battery built into them to save the game.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. Mark, what about
What
you?
was the era that we were looking at for these video games?
Any
It does,
time.
any what you were exposed to?
You know which one that I
Coleco.
for some reason
Yeah, yeah.
Something from Coleco.
um
in television.
Commodore 64.
oh I had all of those, well, most of them.
Coleco.
You know what game I was obsessed with for the longest time?
Solitaire.
Tony Hawk's
Minesweeper.
fucking
Pro Skater.
Oh yeah,
Oh, my
PlayStation 1, man, that was
God.
so good.
I wanted to like go through
We
an
used to smoke a
entire
lot of weed.
cityscape like one long combo, right?
Yep.
Where I fucking grind on this rail to this jump to this. I thought,
Dude,
it was,
I have it here.
I'd just be going like
Yeah.
the entire game to see if you can do one.
I know
long
that
combo.
soundtrack off by heart.
Oh,
Like,
it was
that
awesome.
entire, like, yeah.
I played so much of that game.
Was it
I really
it was
appreciate-
Gold,
I really-
Goldfinger,
Goldfinger,
Superman.
Superman.
Yes.
Here
I really
am,
appreciate that
doing
choice,
everything I
but I
can.
was really hoping it was going to be something Coleco based.
I think I was sick for like a week. I don't know what I had, but I had some really bad virus.
Chickenpox.
My mom rented me. No, I wasn't itching my dick. My mom rented me a PlayStation.
So when somebody says chickenpox, that's the first thing you say is itching my dick. Not a venereal disease, but chickenpox.
He was young. I don't think he was. It's not an STD.
It's not an STD and it's chickenpox.
Yeah.
No.
It could be.
She rented me a PlayStation and that game. And
that's
yeah,
sweet.
you could like manual if you could grind.
Yeah.
And then like you're doing tricks that no skateboarder in real life would ever.
You're doing
be
a
able to
Christ
do.
Dare, which is 4,000 points, and if you repeatedly did that, you fucking won.
Yeah, and you're landing in a fucking nose ollie
Yeah.
manual.
You're coming off a half pipe in a Benihana, and then like grinding on a car,
Yeah.
and then manualing. And
The
then
laws of physics do not matter.
they do not matter. And then dark siding on the
Dark
other
siding,
side of the
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
skateboard deck, and I'm just gonna nose hop like Rune Glissberg for 20 seconds.
It was always. Oh, look at that. That's a fucking.
That's a deep cut.
That's a flatland
Yeah.
skateboarding blast
Yeah.
from the past.
Rune Glissberg. I watched his documentary. Fuck, is he a brilliant skater?
Wow.
The things that man did, like everybody, like not
Chris
everybody.
Mullen was also a really
Chris
good
Mullen.
flatlander. Yeah.
Their
Yeah.
flatland bike, flatland skate. I ate that shit up. Man,
Remember
fuck, yeah.
Matt Hoffman BMX that game as well.
I'm an obsessed BMX
Oh.
guy,
Yeah.
so I all of that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Matt
Also a good
Hoffman's a
game.
god.
All right. So yeah, Tony Hawk.
Why do you
Battle
like the
Commander?
movie Rad?
A little bit.
I forgot about that.
Is that a soft spot? Yes.
Do you still like it even though Lori Laughlin's in prison?
Yeah. Yeah. It's,
She didn't actually go to prison, but
Oh, I was like,
Okay, non-gamer,
so
loser, not cool anymore.
I have no idea because I was like, I
I'm
don't
not
know
a
what-
gamer.
Yeah, I was like,
You-
I don't
but
even
you-
know.
I know you came from gaming. I'm
But
just-
like, I don't even know.
let
what
me
to
have my
pick.
fun with him.
Worms Armageddon. No, I'm kidding.
Earthworm Jim.
Earthworm Jim is
No,
cool.
actually, I picked something so basic. It's not even a favorite game of mine.
it's a typing turn-based game.
It's a typing turn. No. I wanted something
Look.
basic.
Carmen Sandiego.
Nope. That's a good one. Even more basic.
Cross-country Canada.
Nope. Even more.
California Dreams.
You want me? What?
Oregon Trail.
Paperboy.
Oh.
Because
Wow.
I want to be able to just ride my bike on a nice day and deliver some papers.
Have a nice, easy
Here
childhood
comes the
afternoon.
Paperboy bringing
Yeah.
me some good news.
That was a nice segue from Rad.
I agree. And I.
Oh,
Right?
well
That's
done.
the opening.
I
that's the
planned it
opening
that way.
sequence
It's like
right
I
there.
said Matt Hoffman on purpose. Interesting.
Somehow it all makes sense.
So, but Paperboy was just like a very dumb game in my head. And I was like, that would be kind of fun just to live in it, just bike around and throw
Very
paper.
relaxing.
Very relaxing.
You know
It's
what
like
screwed me up about
dogs
that
chasing
game
me?
is you'd be going on like a 45-degree angle, and that was always a confusing control for me.
it was not an easy game. I actually did
I think
not
they
enjoy
did that on
game.
purpose because they probably designed it first to go up and down or
Yeah.
straight, and they found that it was too easy.
By-
So the angle actually added a
By
element
Paperboy
of.
3, they were like, we have to just change it up. The angles need to change. Yeah.
Was there more than one?
Yeah.
Holy fuck!
There's
Somebody sold their soul to fucking that.
Paperboy 2, the weekend edition.
Yeah.
Paperboy
Papers are heavier. There's a lot of flyers in this one.
Thank God for Sundays.
Paperboy 3 up at dawn.
Yeah, exactly. The game only works around like 5 a.m.
We got one more thing here. So there,
The whole first level is just putting the inserts in the papers before you deliver.
Yeah.
do you guys give a shit about any of these new movie video games that are coming out? We got Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Did any
No.
of us see Sonic 1?
No.
Did not.
I saw it, but yeah, it's fine.
I mean, I know. I hear Jim Carrey carries it.
I
Yeah,
started
it's a fine
watching it,
game.
and it seemed very obnoxious right from the get-go, and
It
I turned
is.
it off.
It's like
Okay.
it says what you think it is. I think the trailer is the movie.
What about this Chris Pratt Mario movie?
I'm
that-
kind of excited.
Chris Pratt's in it?
He's the
He's
voice.
Mario.
I don't know if
Oh,
he's
is it
live
animated?
action. I think it's animated.
It's animated.
Ugh.
Yeah.
He's Buzz Lightyear, and I'm very excited.
Yeah,
That trailer looks pretty good.
yeah.
Mario
No,
will
that's
be
Chris.
pretty good.
That's Chris Evans.
No, it's Chris Pratt as Buzz.
No,
No, it's Chris Evans.
You know what, guys?
That's why I was.
Let me just correct myself. It's Chris Evans. I'm sorry. I was wrong.
What the?
But it's Chris Pratt as Mario.
Is it Hemsworth? No, it's Pine.
Fine.
Sure, it wasn't Peter.
No,
Sure, it
it's
wasn't
like-
Peter Dinklage.
Could it be Lloyd?
It was Peter Dinklage, and I am sticking. No, it is another guy
yeah.
that is in Game of Thrones.
Rob in
Jason
the closet
Momoa.
with the gun. Yeah.
The first Mario movie is a cult classic nightmare.
It's terrible.
It's so bad.
Like Bowser.
The
Yoshi?
principal from Ferris Bueller's Day Off is Bowser.
Yeah.
What the fuck's his name? The guy who plays Rooney. Yeah.
Dennis Hopper.
No.
He's so good in Howard the Duck.
I never saw all of Howard the Duck. I watched up until where they hop into bed
Oh,
together
you're
and my
right.
mom turned it off.
He is Bowser. I didn't really
I never
yeah.
went back to it. And I know it's the first Marvel movie ever made, technically,
Yeah.
right?
It's
But-
also George Lucas' movie.
real. That would make sense with what's her face?
And Tim Robbins is awesome in it.
What other video game movies are?
In the list, I can't remember.
There is
Pikachu?
a Minecraft movie.
Ugh.
There's a Tomb Raider 2 movie, which I imagine is going to be a follow-up to the
Yeah.
new one they did.
Which was okay.
Yeah?
It was okay.
It was
you guys
okay.
you guys saw it?
I
Yeah.
saw it on the plane,
Saw it
and
on the plane,
and
too.
I don't really remember it.
Agreed.
But
Okay.
so it was. I just remember it not being shitty.
It was the best out of the Tomb Raider series.
Better
my
than the
opinion.
Lara Croft original?
Yeah,
Yes.
because she, it wasn't just about her having giant tits.
Yeah.
It was about her just being fucking
Finding
cool
shit.
and
Yeah,
badass.
it was a treasure hunt
and
movie.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
What's the new Tom Holland one? That's a video game movie.
Uncharted. Yeah,
Uncharted,
yeah.
yeah.
These are post
BioShock.
BioShock
That
is
one,
yep.
I
that's
haven't
getting one.
played it, but I've seen enough
Science
cool
fiction.
stuff from
It
BioShock.
would
I
be
think
cool.
that'll be a
yeah.
good
I think
premise.
BioShock actually is the one that could be big.
Because again, post-apocalyptic.
And that
Good point,
giant
yeah.
creature,
Good
that
story, though.
fucking like robot thing that protects the little
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
It's
Good,
pretty
good,
cool.
good game design and stuff like that. From
Big
what
Daddy
yeah.
or something. They call it
It has a cool universe.
Yeah, yeah,
which
exactly.
I think has a lot of potential.
And there's lore. I
You know
think,
what?
for that.
Honestly, one video game that I would like to see turn into a movie is Myst.
Mist was cool.
The
Like
movie.
forgot
no,
it, like-
MYST.
Oh, I
forgot
forgot
that
about
one that
yeah.
was like
Yeah.
that. The first one that was
I
kind of
never
that
played it.
weird one where you were exploring a world and doing different puzzles and stuff.
Yeah.
That could get turned into a cool movie.
Those are kind of like escape room movies in a way.
Yeah, kind of totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on. What's else on the list?
Yakuza, which is the Japanese gangster video game.
Yeah, but I
Yakuza.
feel like that's just
Or-
like it's just a movie.
It's a gang that's always been in the backdrop of any Asian crime movie, but it's never been given a thing full front and center. So.
Right.
Yeah, but it should be based off the video game. It should just be based off Yakuza, and it should have the elements of something like on par
I would
with
love to watch a
Godfather
Yakuza
or
crime
or
syndicate
fucking
series.
Goodfellas or fucking Departed or something like
Old
that.
Boy.
It's just cool, cool crime
Uh,
movie, but with Japanese peeps.
Mega Man and then Beyond Good and Evil are the top of that.
Mega Man would be cool.
Mega Man's going to be an animated one too. I know that much.
That feels like a show.
Yeah, that could be better as a show on like
What style of animation?
nobody.
No one
it's
knows.
all early development.
It's got to be anime style.
Hmm.
That would be very.
I'm surprised they're not doing Red Dead Revolver yet.
Unpopular opinion, I don't like anime.
How come?
I would
Elaborate.
I don't like anime from an art perspective. I
Okay.
just don't like it.
Oh, okay.
I'm just not into it, but I don't hate it. Like that's
Yeah.
me. But I'm
I
like,
know there's really great stories,
exactly.
but I'm just not into the art.
Yep,
That's cool.
It's
That's
harder
fine.
for me to grasp. I'll be honest. I'll give
But
it a
you also
try.
like Rob Liefeld, little hands and feet. So
Disproportionate.
You also like.
Is that a fetish?
it could be.
Probably is somewhere.
He also likes rad.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I
Hey,
I
man,
don't
I've
mind
re-
Rob
I-
Liefeld. I just like how
and
he's
Todd
fun.
McFarlane, like really exaggerated muscles. and-
But honestly, probably one of my favorite artists in comics though is Jim Lee. Like I just like the way he does fucking Wolverine,
Yep.
He's
and he draws arguably the most badass Magneto.
Mark is pulling out.
Mark is
Are you pulling out a Jim Lee fucking X Men?
Yeah, yes, because he went and bought some this morning.
Yes.
Yeah,
There's some Jim Lee X-Men fucking Wolverine
hell
goodness.
yeah.
Ugh.
And you know what? That's his earlier stuff. I actually find that when you move into the early '90s, his shit becomes more refined.
Right.
This is, and then you can compare that
Because the number
compare
one
and
selling
contrast.
comic book of all time is X-Men #1, and that comic, those covers were I can't even talk right now. Were drawn by Jim Lee.
That's some Todd McFarlane Wolverine to compare.
Showing comics on a podcast medium is,
I also-
is quite genius.
I also really, I'm also a big fan of. Did Eric Larson ever do Wolverine?
I don't know.
Anyways, so
I do like Eric Larson's Venom versus Todd McFarlane's Venom
Oh.
because he does the mouth even more crazy and exaggerated.
I like the over-exaggerated.
Yeah, me too.
venoms,
speaking of cartoons, I think we all come from the greatest era of Saturday morning cartoons.
Oh, the '80s, absolutely.
right?
we all come from, like, I could be his father.
I'm 22.
I actually don't know. How old are the?
What year were you? Were you born in the '80s?
I was 86.
Okay.
Okay, so you know what?
So not quite his father.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're more like you're.
I'm turning
for when you were-
47.
When you were 5,
You're
Teenage
not.
Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
Was
I know you
was
are.
huge.
But
Ninja
you're
Turtles
not.
my jam. Yeah,
Yeah.
5. Yeah.
Whereas, like, when I was 5, when I was 5 or when I was
The
6.
moon landing. No.
No, I'm not that old. But that was the first year Transformers came
Right,
out.
yeah.
Right. So to me, that's like the biggest.
Are you
thing for me.
81 or what are you?
I'm 79.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was Transformers, G.I. Joe. That's my jam.
So you're 70.
He-Man.
75.
75. Yeah.
He-Man.
He-Man.
Thundercats.
Oh yeah, that's my jam.
It's those
Mr.
four.
Ed. I Dream of Jeannie. I just keep dating.
Love
it
Boat?
Love Boat.
My first
Gilligan's Island.
My
Andy
first
Griffith Show.
experience with like the X-Men and stuff was Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I do.
You know, one old timely cartoon though that was still relevant for us was the Spider-Man cartoon from the 60s.
Yeah, even
with
for
all
me.
like the crazy organ music. And
Yeah,
you're like,
and the
you're like,
same
how much
background.
LSD were these guys on?
Yeah, like the
Same with
background
me.
never
I
changes.
watched that as a kid. Yeah.
He's always
lazy
swinging,
man.
and
Yeah.
he was used a rope.
using the same cell
Yeah.
Yes.
over and over again. For him
We got to make 20
They
of
did that
these
in
in
Disney
4
too.
weeks.
They didn't have computers; they had to be proactive.
So anyway, so I firmly believe that this 20-year 80s to mid 90s probably has some of the best animated shit ever made, and they actually have channels on YouTube right now where they've like amalgamated the best of CBS for 5 hours straight.
Cool.
So they kind of recreated it. So if you want to experience it, you can do the ABC, CBS, NBC Saturday mornings from those eras. But I just thought, wouldn't it be fun if we rehashed a Saturday morning together?
I got it.
Like if next weekend we were all going to watch cartoons for the first time. What cartoons will we want to see? And then like what's the best highlight reel that we can
I'm
going
gonna say going into this that I think today's youth are really missing out on the experience of
Having to wait.
like having a favorite show that you had to wait for.
Yeah. Yep.
This instant society we live in where everything's at the touch of a button
Or you
anytime
can
you
pause
want
it.
it. Yeah, like Saturday morning used to fucking mean something.
You were up at 6.
Right.
Remember when you had to take a piss and you had to
Like,
run to the
6 if I
bathroom
stayed-
and get back in time before it started?
I was
again?
usually up at 5 or 5:30
Yep.
because
Yeah.
like there's some certain shows started and
6 to 12, literally.
I was 7. I was
Yeah.
7 because I couldn't do the 6.
and there was so much cool stuff on.
Like I'm just looking at a list of 80s cartoons right now online. Inspector Gadget, Thundercats, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Gadget.
DuckTales, Smurfs,
DuckTales.
Transformers, The Real Ghostbusters, Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers. I used to love that.
Chip and
Alvin
Dale.
and Alvin and the Chipmunks, The Care Bears,
So
Garfield
good.
and Friends,
Oh, man.
Beetlejuice, She-Ra,
Is this
Muppet
lineup?
Babies, G.I. Joe,
Oh,
Gem and the
Muppet
Holograms,
Muppet
Danger
Babies, so
Mouse,
good.
Adventures of the Gummy Bears. Like the list goes on and on.
It's almost painful.
Tiny Toons.
You
Did
basically
you mention
just-
the Wuzzles?
Tiny Toons.
The Wuzzles!
Oh, remember Duckula, Count Duckula?
You kind of
Elf.
killed. Like,
Darkwing Duck.
you basically said everything that was good. Like
Yeah. Okay, so
Bonkers,
here's I'll start this off
Care
here.
Bear?
Here's,
Aladdin.
I don't think I gave us a limit here, but I picked 6. So I would start with Darkwing Duck. But here's what I would do.
I tried to
want-
watch it again though. It doesn't
It's not
hold
as
up.
it doesn't hold up. I
It
watched
doesn't
it.
hold up.
But this is where I think people would be like, okay, I am acceptable of a reboot, rebate, remake, whatever the fuck you want to do with this.
Rebate.
A requel. Where Darkwing Duck comes out of retirement, kind of like an old Batman, and we find a new duck. Right? We get a new
Are you saying beyond Darkwing?
Yeah, I'm saying
Can we call it like the Darkwing? And he could be like grittier.
You know, it'd be cool if
Rising
Launchpad
Duck.
Launchpad died in a crash,
Pat
Right.
McQuack.
and they took his brain and put it into a cyborg.
Sure,
Right.
give it to me.
Yeah.
Give it to
No
me.
one,
I'll
no one
watch
has
it
ever
all.
thought this deeply about Darkwing.
No, well, but like I don't know how I started.
Come on,
doing this, but I
Disney,
was
bring
like,
us this.
But like that one specifically, yeah, I have seen a couple episodes. It totally doesn't hold
It
up.
doesn't
But
hold up.
in the still of the night, right? Like
Yeah.
the
keep going.
The traction that I can't remember.
You were just singing the Spider-Man theme.
What? No.
In the tail of the night,
At
he
the
arrives
scene of the
Crime.
crime,
That's right.
At the tail
Yeah.
he arrives just in time.
There, thank you very much.
Also,
I could
Darkwing
feel
Duck
myself
was a
doing a
bef-
Rocky bit there for a second.
Darkwing Duck's a buffoon. Like he's basically, it's almost a ripoff of Inspector Gadget, kind of, because doesn't he have his niece that basically kind of helps him like
Oh, he's-
get
yeah.
through
yeah,
it all?
everybody-
And it's kind of like Penny in
Yeah.
the Penny in
Is
the
he
Brain.
strong? Listen, bud. He's got
radioactive blood.
Come back to that.
Same fucking beats. 2-4
Darkwing
time.
Duck. Yeah.
So that was my first hit.
Candy
My
swing?
second hit.
Overhead.
I
You
want.
got 6 of these?
Yeah, I'm fast. Fuck, it's like prom night. It'll be so quick.
Fast as fuck, boy.
Fast, fuck boy. Then I want the original real Ghostbusters. I
Okay.
want those just back in
The song for that was awesome. Like the
Yes.
intro, yeah. It was
Yeah.
better than the actual cartoon.
And like,
And they're walking through the
Yeah.
the street in New York, and everyone's like, "Yeah."
They're going side to side. Yeah. Big wide stance.
I want some OJ Beetlejuice back.
Nice. Oh,
Okay.
I forgot about that show. Yeah.
Right?
You know what though?
Very
I
good.
started to hate that show because it became kind of like the repeat that was like a filler.
Yeah,
on, like,
it was
certain
always
times
in
of
the
day.
morning. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ugh.
it did get.
It got
It
kinda-
did
It's
get
kind of like Astro
syndicated.
Boy, where you're like, "Oh, again?"
Astro Boy
Oh,
too.
Astro
I know. I
Boy.
forgot about that. Fucking pointy head.
Then my top
or Rocket
three.
Robin Hood.
I
Rocket
want
Robin Hood. I forgot about that too.
Rocket Robin
I
Hood.
forgot about
I
that.
still, my favorite thing about Rocket Robin is the Friar Tuck thing, where he's taking the food and taking bites out of it and
Right.
throwing it
How
behind
about,
him.
how about Hercules?
Oh, yeah.
With
I-
Pip
Oh,
and
God.
I watched
Tuck
that.
or whatever.
Hey, Herc!
Hey, Herc!
with
These are
Nip,
things I
with Nip
forgot
and
I
Tuck.
watched.
No, that was a completely different show.
Nip and tuck.
Or a
It's
personal
Newt.
experience.
Newt and Toot.
It was, wasn't it?
Newt and Toot.
With Nip and Tuck.
Nip and Tuck.
That would be such an inside joke if they did that.
Oh my God! Please, somebody make a clip of 2 Minotaurs being breast augmentated for my own sanity. 'Cause that's what I was thinking.
And they're centaurs, not minotaurs. Come on, man.
Tell you who's I don't want to make that joke. I had a bad joke there.
What's the difference?
Minotaur is half like a bowl.
Did I
It's-
reverse it? Did I?
The Minotaur is the body of a man with the head of a bull,
And
but
a
then it
centaur.
Oh
has
yes,
hooves.
yes.
And a centaur is the body of a horse, but then the torso of a man. But it's weird because it doesn't. It has 6 arms because you have the 2 man hands, but then 4 legs.
Depends what. Yeah.
I don't. I don't know my crossbreeding.
Which is not,
Six
which is not,
appendages. Fine.
6 appendages, which would not fall into a normal mammalian evolutionary scheme.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Humana.
My brain.
I'm gonna finish with
You're like,
with,
shut up, Rob.
with Thundercats,
'Kay.
Gummy Bears, and Muppet Babies.
Oh, Thundercats was so good.
Right? I want a new
Thunder,
Thundercats.
thunder, thunder,
I-
thunder.
I want like a really
Or-
good, clean.
They were supposed to make a movie about that. Like
They
the
were.
They were
Thundercats,
trying.
like, it just
They tried.
keeps like coming and going, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It falls in and out of distribution or production. Like I think I've seen it 3 times pop up.
It's come up quite a bit.
It'll come. It'll come.
Gummy Bears, just because
Gummy
bears bouncing here and there and everywhere.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Dashing
Adventure
Go-
that's beyond compare.
Compare.
So I tried to watch that with Lucy.
It's not as good.
And
No?
it-
I
no,
rewatched.
I liked it.
I
but
didn't like it much,
It's
yeah.
not fast paced enough for her.
It's very
Sure.
So compared to the cartoons now,
Yeah.
she got bored. You could just tell she got bored and started playing
That's
with her toys.
interesting how.
and daring,
And-
courageous and caring. Something and da 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 da. There you go.
And then
We
Muppet Babies.
passed right over Thundercats already, and we're already in fucking Gummy Bears.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk about Snarf.
I just Thundercat speaks for itself.
Yeah, it's-
Human
it's
cat
pretty well known.
hybrids with swords.
Yeah.
You know,
Mumra.
they escape and then they wake up and like they go to bed. He goes to bed and he's little and he wakes up and he's like all like grown up and fucking ripped and shit. It's like wow,
Lino.
Yeah.
put me in that fucking.
I want to be
Meowsers.
Panthro. I always thought Panthro was cool.
Panthro was the blue bald one, right?
Yeah.
Who was the human that was with them?
Who's the bad guy again? The mummy guy?
No, maybe I'm thinking of He-Man. I'm thinking of She-Ra's father. That's who I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
You're
There's
getting
no,
those two
yeah,
mixed up.
I'm confusing my.
It's a little
cartoons.
The new
Yeah.
She-Ra is good.
Anyways, Mark, what was your list?
Mumra was not
Mumra.
Skeletor.
Tell me your list.
He was not a Minotaur.
you, He-Man!
I just got to take it off the top of my head. So for me, Smurfs was my first Saturday morning cartoon
Wow.
because I had like 3 channels when I lived in the country.
It was probably mine too.
Yeah, so it was one of the first things I ever watched was Smurfs.
Do you find Smurfs rather anti-Semitic?
It's Smurfs is a whole bunch of things.
We could do a
It's
separate podcast
it's
just on that.
ageist and misogynistic.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of everything. But yeah, love the Smurfs.
Is there only one female Smurf?
There was only
There
one
only
female
one.
Smurf,
It's a
yeah.
constant gangbang all the time.
What a world.
Oh, she got smurfed like.
The jokes.
What a world.
Gargamel, was that the bad guy?
Gargamel was the bad,
and Azrael was his cat. How good is the Smurfs and the Magic Flute movie where they've got to the 4 corners of the earth and stuff like that?
How
and
good's
then
the live
Grandpa
action?
Grandpa Smurf gets introduced. That was a fucking dope.
live
fucking
action
movie.
with
I
Neil
never
Patrick
bothered
Harris?
to do the Smurf
The
films.
live action ones are meh.
It's bad. It's
I
pretty bad.
really.
Hank Azaria is pretty funny though.
Yeah.
I really liked there was a cartoon for Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome.
You know what I don't like about it? I actually have the DVD set. The only thing I don't like is there's the one guy and he doesn't have a weapon. He just has a shield, and you're just like, what the fuck? Like,
It's Captain America.
I always thought that was a really cool cartoon.
where they go on the carnival ride and they go and they
it was strange, right?
Yeah.
Like they just start as like cosplayers basically, and they end up in the world of Dungeons and Dragons.
It's kind of like Captain Power, you know? Remember that one?
yes.
Captain
Captain
Power.
N.
Where he had the Nintendo
So
on
that's
the belt.
that's
Yeah.
so that's on my list. It's Captain N.
Oh, that's right. That's what it
Captain
was.
And then
Game
like,
Master.
how about
Yeah,
like
that's on my
the Wonder Twins?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember Wonder
I
Twin
don't know.
powers activate
Activate.
form
Form
of
of
and
sheep.
then one could be an animal and the other one was a water
Yeah.
like
I
a thing
only
made
know
of
it
water.
because of Family Guy.
Is that Captain Planet?
No, that's Wonder.
it was the
Wonder
With
Wonder
Twins.
our powers combined.
How do I know more of these shows than you?
They had rings and they'd be like Wonder Twin powers activate. And then one would say like form of a gorilla and the other one would be form of a bucket of water. And
Oh,
then
I
it'd be
do remember this. Yeah.
form of a skating rink. It was bad.
It's stupid.
Ian, what?
And then Scooby Doo.
Oh.
And because Scooby Doo is just so classic.
Ira-roo.
There was always, the end of the episodes were like, I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids. I love that Scooby Doo.
That's the
Yeah,
Hanna-Barbera.
Phase.
And in
Yeah.
that whole era, like those were the cartoons. To me, Saturday morning cartoons felt different than, like Thundercats was a lunch hour cartoon for me. It wasn't a Saturday morning cartoon.
Okay.
Right? So there's a difference there. Like Inspector Gadget was not a Saturday morning cartoon.
That was an
It
after
was
school.
An after school.
That was after
cartoon.
school for me too. Yeah.
But that's fun. I feel like
It just felt
Inspector
different.
Gadget
Yeah.
was early in the morning during the week
Oh,
too.
was it
was
too?
before. It was before. And
Like
after.
I liked the Jetsons and the
Yeah.
Flintstones.
Judy.
Yeah, there's some good ones there.
oh yeah, so
That is
good.
definitely the Hanna-Barbera era
Yes.
of cartooning for sure.
Like Captain Caveman. How about some like Flintstone or
Yogi Bear,
Yogi Bear?
Who was the other? The
Right.
dog.
and Jerry. Oh,
Rocky Bullwinkle. Is that Hanna-Barbera?
Augie Doggy.
Yeah, but that's going more 60s, 70s, right?
That is. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
All
were
that
right
I still
stuff.
love
there.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't Matt? His afternoon was his afternoon. He wasn't in charge
Looney
of the
Tunes,
programming.
Looney Tunes too, right?
Looney
like I mean,
Tunes,
yeah.
Yep.
There was a lot of Saturday mornings seemed to be the cartoons that made you want to buy a toy because it was like marketing to kids.
That's where they took that shit to hyperdrive was in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember all of a sudden TMNT was a toy and a show.
Yeah.
And
Mighty Max.
Ghostbusters were a toy and a show. Like nothing didn't have a toy.
Yes.
It's
and
funny-
we were the ones that
Guys,
bought
Paw
them all.
Patrol is $1 billion machine.
Well, like Mighty Max was probably you guys were probably too old for it, but I watched Mighty Max and I love that show. But that was a toy before it was a show. Like it was like okay.
And all like you said,
Mighty Max?
Gem and the Holograms, like they were one and the same. If it was on Saturday morning, you'd go to the toy store and there was a toy of it.
Yeah.
Well, that was because Gem and the Holograms is the same type of animation as G.I. Joe and Transformers. So it was the same studio trying to do a female offshoot to capture that part of the market.
Same thing with G.I. Joe and Transformers. Like the toys were waiting there for you.
Yeah.
Your favorite cartoons were
The cartoon makers are more savvy now. Now they can make a show that's unisex driven, and both boys and girls just eat that shit up. And then there's ones that are more boy specific and ones that are more girl specific.
Right.
It's pretty crazy what they're doing nowadays.
Ian, what's your
think
greatest hits?
You've kind of nailed a lot of ones I even forgot.
I had a feeling this would have an overlap. But
yeah,
that's-
there'd be so many overlaps.
just proves we know our shit.
Flintstone, Super Mario, Super Show, Captain and Game Master, Batman animated series, Hammerman. Do you remember that?
Oh, I don't know Hammer.
MC,
What's
MC,
Hammerman?
MC
Hammer.
Hammer. Yeah, he did have a cartoon.
He
had
had the magic shoes.
the magic
and
shoes that talked.
and he had those weird pointy
Yep.
shoulders.
The real
The zoot suits.
Ghostbusters. Sorry.
Hammerman was technically in the 90s, though.
That's fine.
How about Rubik
I don't think
the
we had it.
Amazing Cube?
Anyway, go on.
Care Bear, Arthur. Even though Arthur wasn't really a Saturday morning, but Arthur was like me being too old to watch cartoon, but still watched it. And these are probably like, again, I'm not sure if you guys watched any of these. Recess, Gargoyles, or Weekenders.
Gargoyles is coming back.
I
And,
know.
Yes,
and
it is.
Gargoyles is hardcore 90s.
I love
but
Gargoyles.
it's fucking amazing.
Right.
Just remember, Commander Riker is the voice of the billion.
Oh, I knew that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did know that. And that's it.
I love gargoyles.
Such good taste.
Thank you.
That show was setting up for this massive fucking cool battle between good and evil, and then they just canceled
I
it.
know.
And I was like, "What are you doing?"
One of my favorite toys too. Like I had a bunch of the toys, like Goliath and like Bronx and that, and it was like still my favorite toys. I owned.
And the reason I liked it too is that it had the same animation style as that early
Animated
90s
Batman.
animated
Agreed,
Batman
yeah.
series.
Yeah,
So
with
good.
the Phantasm.
Yeah.
And
That
that
era
show
of
is
Batman,
dark.
yeah.
Like the
Dude, Mark
the
Hamill is
cop
so
had a
good as
gun
the
and
Joker.
Yeah, he is. He is
gets
the
shot and
Joker.
stuff, you know?
Well, they use real bullets in it. So in that cartoon, you would actually see the bullets come
Yeah.
out of the gun, like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
bullet
yeah.
shells, right? So it just had a level
So
of realism that
there
was pretty cool.
There was a whole episode where the idiot gargoyle, Broadway, I think his name was, he accidentally takes their police friend gun and shoots her. Like, I don't know if you guys remember that. but
No,
he
I don't.
He accidentally shoots
That's
her.
dark.
Like, that's fucking dark, and that's a Disney show.
I kind of remember this,
yeah,
actually.
yeah. Like, Broadway fucking shoots their friend, and it's like, it's the Fresh Prince episode.
Everything's the Fresh Prince episode.
They would do that once in a while in Saturday morning cartoons, though. They'd throw in that like teach you a lesson episode
Yeah, yeah.
that
yeah,
wasn't
this
fun.
big backhand of
You're
life
like,
across
no,
the face.
I can't handle this.
No,
It's like when I found out that if you eat too many apple seeds, they're poisonous. Because in that G.I. Joe movie, there was a giant creature, and they basically took apple trees and threw them into the monster, and then the monster dies from the poison in the apple seeds.
What's your list?
I didn't actually make a list.
Okay.
But my
Off the top of your head.
top of my head, I
Top
mean,
5.
number one for me is Transformers, pure and simple, through and
Yeah.
through.
No, it really.
Like, like it just fucking resonates with me. Like I'm the kind of person I own the $120 fucking box set that fucking opens up, like, you know, and I still watch the Transformers movie once a year. Like I just
That's such a fabled movie. We went and
Yeah.
saw it at the park.
fuck,
Like
man, like it's so good.
it's Orson Welles'
Like-
last goddamn
Like,
role.
you know,
about a dark movie.
hot rod training a rod. It's fucking dark. Like I actually remember, like I was almost I was like basically in tears when fucking Optimus Prime died. So that was huge. The original
in my chest.
the G.I. Joe cartoon was fucking
It was.
a huge favorite of mine.
I'm Cobra Commander.
I really and the offshoot movies, like there's that one movie where they have to go collect the 3 different samples. Like they have to go to the bottom of the fucking Marina Trench to get like this special water, and it's so fucking cool. Destro's so fucking badass.
Destro was cool.
You know, and I always loved that Starscream and Cobra Commander were the same fucking voice, and it just you know,
Right.
you know, I really did like He-Man. Though now when I watch it, it
doesn't hold up.
It's just it's obnoxious.
watched
It's
it too, yeah.
obnoxious, right?
Did you guys try the new one at all?
I did. I watched
Not
the
yet.
first season, and I just haven't had a chance to watch the other one.
It's coming. Or is it out already?
Yeah.
I think it's. I don't know.
I don't know.
of Grayskull.
It really did change the whole story of He-Man, though. Like it's introducing.
sure, yeah.
It's introducing a really new take. We're 20 years later, and they've decided to explore the death of He-Man. And
Yeah, what
and-
idiot decided to do that?
You can have words with them. I'm fine with it.
I'm gonna tell you guys out there.
That's fucking sacrilegious in this house.
Right? Yeah. No. You speak ill. You be gone.
What else did I really like? Another one I liked, and I'm gonna throw one that's a little bit more obscure. 'cause
Sure.
There's only
we
a
like
couple
obscure.
of seasons.
Avant-garde, perhaps.
So, have you guys ever heard of Visionaries?
No.
So
No.
Visionaries was, and it was a toy too. It was where each of the different characters, they had like a holographic thing, and they would transform into they would have like a power that would be like animal based. So there was like a cheetah
Animals.
guy and a
Dude, I
lion
have one of the
guy.
toys upstairs.
And
Didn't it have
then-
like a hologram on their chest?
Yeah, it looks like this.
That sounds familiar.
It looks like this.
Yeah, I had those toys.
And then they each
I
had this like
remember that
staff
show.
thing, and it had another power that would come out, and it was almost like they would envision them, and they would almost become this holographic kind of thing. So it was called Visionaries.
I've never heard of this.
So it was only around for a couple of seasons. It was pretty cool. There's another one called Inhumanoids that I really liked, and it was where these guys would go under these subterranean. They were like these scientists, and then they would go underground and fight these subterranean demons and stuff like that. But that was only around for like 1 or 2 seasons.
I have a show that I've been trying to figure out what it's called forever. And if you guys remember it, I don't know if you guys watched it. It was a YTV show. The animation style was kind of like
Count
a
Duckula.
little bit anime. It wasn't Count Duckula. It's about like a bunch of these robots. This like brother and sister, and they have all these like robots, and one has like, and they fight I guess crime. I'm not even sure what they did, but one of the robot was like a samurai robot. One was like, and they had all these robots that were friends, and they took care of these robots, and they I don't know. I can't even remember it. Like that's the thing. I remember
Voltron.
No, it wasn't Voltron. It's so hard to remember. I remember it came on at
Voltron.
6:30 on YTV. I remember that.
Metabots.
Is that what it's called? That sounds so wrong.
Voltron.
Maybe it is.
Is this it?
I can't see that far.
What about Reboot? Did anybody watch Reboot
I
on
loved
YTV?
Reboot. I
It was-
watched
it
so
was-
much.
That was the
It
first.
was
That was
cool.
computer generated.
Computer
right?
generated VR simulated.
Was it
like,
this one?
Real time engine, kind of like early real time engine.
That always threw me off because it didn't seem like
Didn't
the
feel
right
right.
type of animation.
Yeah.
It's not Metabots.
Anybody watch Camp Candy? Do you guys remember that? The John Candy. Like John Candy had a camp for kids, and it was an animated TV. Everyone looks at me like I'm making this up when I mention it, but it was on the list when I went through.
Can I say one more?
Yeah.
It's not a cartoon from a TV show, but it is from the 80s because I watched it when I was about 10 or 11. It's Akira.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember going into
I-
a video store and there was Akira sitting there and it had a big R sticker on it. And I guess I was like probably
How will I get this
11.
into my life.
And I was like, I convinced my dad to let me rent it. And I was just like, and that's kind of what kind of started my whole love of anime because it was just like gritty and dark and long and cool and like awesome. And that's a movie that needs to be turned into a fucking live action movie already. I'm mad
Talked
because,
about it.
you know, because what's his name? Garrett the guy from Tron was gonna be
Garrett Hedlund.
yes, he was gonna be Katana.
Oh.
Kanata.
Okay.
The thing is I don't know if you guys know this, but the person that's still like I think the producer behind it or owns the rights to it or something like that is DiCaprio.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, and why can't I think of his name? He directed Jojo the Rabbit.
Taika.
Tika.
Yeah, he's supposed to direct Akira, but then they gave him a fucking Star Wars movie. He's like, I'm gonna go do the Star Wars. I'm like, no, I need you to do Akira.
Did you see? There's a clip of him.
But Akira almost needs to be like a trilogy or a 2-part movie
There's a clip of him, and I think
because it should be 5 hours. the movie.
Kimmel says to him, I don't know who it was some talk show host, and they're like, so how do you like what happens when you work for Disney? Like how do you get a job with Disney? He's like, you just say yes to everything. Like you don't say no, and then he says, and then you figure it out later. Like, do you get the job? Because he's like, you can figure everything out. You can either buy it or you can make it because
Yeah.
it's Disney.
But I
But
think-
you just need to be able to figure it out.
But I think I told you that, like, I when I was part of that TIFF program, I had a meeting with the director of the White Tiger, and he was like, I got asked to do a Disney.
Yeah,
a
you were
Star-
saying
a
that.
Star
Yeah,
Wars
yeah,
movie, and he turned it down. And he was explaining why, and he was like, I did not want to do that. Like, that's the pressure. I knew what it would come with. Like, he's like, it was too much for me, and it was like, I was like, cool.
It's not even
that's
just the
ballsy.
pressure from the studio. I
It's
think
everything. It's pressure
it's
from
the
the
pressure
audience.
from the fans.
Yeah, exactly.
Fandom
Because
can
the
really be a
expectation
lot.
of a Star Wars movie is on the next fucking level.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything. It's even you're even more under the analysis than if you do a Marvel movie because it's
Marvel still gets slack for being new. Star Wars has been around.
Star Wars is because think how much shit George Lucas took for the fucking prequels.
Yeah.
Just the prequels, right?
And that's the guy who gave you the
you know,
the
or
Yeah.
look how
original
much
three.
shit
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams got, like he's
I invented it. I can't get it wrong.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
like
a
I'm
good point.
playing jazz here. It's
Yeah,
not ever been.
You know what's funny is after the episodes 7, 8, and 9 came out, you almost start to appreciate the prequels
prequels?
on
I
some
agree.
level a
I
little
agree.
bit.
You do. You didn't
agree.
know what you had until you had to watch that.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, Jar Jar's more in the lexicon of society than Ray is, or
Uh-huh.
BB9.
We all talk.
Misa so stupid.
Misa.
Going back to the cartoons,
yeah.
does anybody remember a cartoon that had like Bo Jackson and Wayne Gretzky?
It was called All Stars.
Oh.
yeah,
Michael
Saturday
Jordan's
morning.
like
It was
superheroes or
designed
something?
to
Yeah, yeah.
promote the cereal.
yeah,
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 I do
Pro
remember
Star,
that.
right? Or the little.
Yeah, it had Bo Jackson, it had Michael Jordan, and it had Wayne Gretzky.
That's
Again,
real.
another
That's real,
a
right?
commercial
Yeah,
to
yeah.
kids.
Because and they basically were the four main sports. So you had hockey. Bo Jackson was good at baseball and good at football.
Do you guys remember when they took like different cartoons from different things? It was like one of those drug informal shows. Like they do those specials every once in a while. It was like bringing all your heroes together. They would do this every once in a while. Maybe it was a 90s. I mean, it was very much a 90s thing for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like something that would actually make me do more drugs, not do drugs.
Well, probably.
I really liked Captain M2, and I'm glad you brought that up
Yeah,
because I loved
so
Kid
good.
Icarus, Simon Velmont, who was kind of like a scaredy cat, which was kind of like ironic. He was kind of like, you know.
It's they didn't really have the rights for a lot of characters is the funny thing. So the show, I've seen episodes
Yeah.
here and there, and it doesn't date well because of it. But it's still like one of those ideas where I'm like, I hope they remake it, because right now, like Disney, if they remade it, could like they own so much they could like bring in all these characters.
Well, and they can also afford to license what they need
Yeah,
to license.
exactly.
They go, hey, Konami, we're going to license this. Here's a few bucks, right? Hey, Nintendo, we're going to license this. Here's a few bucks, right?
Yep.
So,
All right, so to close this shit off here, let's try this for the first time. I thought this would be fun to go up against a
did anyone say Scooby Doo?
Yeah, he did.
Yes.
Okay.
He was Scooby-Doo.
And I would have got away with it too if it wasn't.
So
for
mark it.
kids.
Pull it off
move
the
on
fucking
here.
mask at the end.
You
You
damn
damn kids!
So I thought it'd be fun to just kind of go.
You're kind of rocking the inner Freddy today with your scarf.
Thank you.
So I thought it'd be fun to kind of sit back and look at what Roger Ebert reviewed before he sadly passed away, and see if we agree or disagree with one of the greatest movie critics who ever.
It's one of the greatest movies.
No, this made this is.
It was
this is gonna
definitely
be
not the
interesting.
greatest movie.
So we're affectionately titling this Roger's Regret because he might regret saying what he did, and we might chew him out for it. But who knows? If you've got a better name for this segment, please let us know. So first one up, we are going to talk about the 1-star review Transformers. Is it Dark of the Moon or Dark Side?
Dark Side
I
of
thought
the
it was
Moon.
the Dark Side of the Moon.
Dark Side of the Moon, or that's the Pink Floyd album.
Here,
hang
let's.
on. I'm in front of it
I
right
thought
now.
it was Dark of the Moon.
I thought it was Dark of the Moon as well too, but it doesn't.
Already a problem with the title.
Yeah, we're already. This is already going to
Dark
shit.
what of the moon?
Yeah. Dark What?
I gotta go backwards here. And
It's
see.
Dark of the Moon.
Dark of the Moon. Thank you.
2011 Transformers. Dark of the Moon.
2011,
2011.
Yeah, because this is when this
This
review
is
from.
this was the movie that did not have
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox in it.
It was
And
the
they
Megan Fox exit?
replaced with Rosie Huntington.
Yes.
It's the one where at the intro,
Yes.
there's that really cool white building that's actually in Milwaukee, on Lake Michigan.
Wait, isn't the intro where they're all
On the moon?
on the moon and we're
There
seeing-
is, but I'm talking about the intro with like where they introduce the his new main squeeze.
Oh yes.
Sorry,
yes,
I apologize.
Yeah,
I
no,
should
yeah,
have
no.
been
I know
more
what you're
specific.
talking about.
And McDreamy's in it. The
McDreamy
guy
is in
yeah,
it.
from-
Yes.
Francis
McDr-
McDormand.
McDreamy's in
It's a
it.
very big cast.
John Turturro's in it. Ken Jeong
Oh,
is in it.
John Malkovich is in it.
John
Yeah, that's
Malkovich
right.
is in it
Yeah.
too.
Francis McDormand, like 2-time Academy Award winner, Francis McDormand.
Yeah, like it's not a bad cast, but
That's
Ken Jeong is in it.
so first off, he gave it 1 star.
Yeah.
Like
It's got a 6.2 on
Don't even say
IMDb,
it. It was like you can't even.
but then it's got a 42 Metascore.
Yeah.
here's a couple lines.
What's Rotten Tomatoes?
Let me read some of this here. So it says the series exists to show gigantic and hideous robots hammering one another. So it does. The last hour involves a battle for the universe, which for some reason is held at the corner of Michigan Avenue and Wacker Drive in Chicago. This battle is protracted mercilessly beyond all reason and at an ear-shattering sound level. There's more of a plot this time. It is a plot that cannot be described in terms of structure, more in terms of duration. This ship, the Ark, that carried the robots into the solar system from their own so that the good bots could continue their struggle for freedom against the bad bots. It is a bad omen when Lincoln's statue on the National Mall is decapitated. He says humans are involved this time. These include Sam Witwicky, who earlier saved the world but now has a job in the mailroom. Carly, who's Rosie Huntington, his sexy girlfriend. Frances McDormand, like we've mentioned. Also mentions here, he says, but the humans are needed for us. They are required because bots have no personalities and little intrinsic interest apart from the banging noises they make. They speak in dubbed English noises that sound oddly separate from the other voices in the other film. And they are so many times larger than the humans that I was reminded of the scale used in The Incredible Shrinking Man. We also need people because I, for one, will never care for Optimus Prime any more than for an engine block.
Can I say one thing at the tail end of that? The fact that he references the incredibly shrinking man which is like what from like 57.
Yeah, one of the
Like, dude.
Is it that old?
Yeah.
one of the first sci-fis, like a good true sci-fi.
What was the name of the movie
The
again?
Incredibly Shrinking Man.
Let's
Ebert
see.
wasn't the demographic.
No, he was not the demographic for sure.
I think that's a 70s show. Is that not a 70s show? Incredible Shrinking Man?
But in and of itself, Mark, did you like Dark of the Moon?
1957. Did
Oh.
I fucking call that shit or
But
what?
see, you're talking about, and like Rob said, is the Transformers were part of my childhood. So, like Pizza, like a bad Transformers movie, still
Okay.
a Transformers
Yep.
movie.
Yep.
I like. That's why I like Pacific Rim. It's giant fucking robots.
It's
battling.
popcorn movies.
Yeah. I don't.
I went and saw
I
all the
like
Transformers
Optimus. So Optimus was a voice from my childhood. Optimus is like. He says he can't connect with him. I connect with Optimus.
Rob is flashing gas.
I
symbols,
brought
agreed.
Right?
I brought my
So-
Optimus Prime toy to the first Transformers. Like I brought it, and when they changed noises, I was making my Optimus.
Like when you were an adult?
Yeah, when I went to go see Sam Witwicky for the
He
first
bought a
time.
ticket. He bought a ticket for the toy.
No, I brought my Transformer with me. Like I get it.
Here you
I'm
go.
sympathizing with you.
Next to
I
him.
like hearing him
All
talk
right,
for the first
you're-
time on the
you're
screen.
I was
really-
jealous
How
of
do you
him.
Get, you get laid.
He's holding hands
Right?
of his
I was
toy
jealous
and
of him that he got to be with the Transformers. Like that's what I wanted to do.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So you could tell me all the stories, and they didn't even need to matter that much with the fucking Allspark and
But it
the
doesn't
fucking
need to
primes.
matter.
And I don't. It doesn't need to matter.
No, I agree with
Are
you.
you
The other
still-
thing
are you
is-
still jealous?
He never saw the
a little bit.
cartoon, so
Not
he
of
doesn't
Shia LaBeouf.
understand how the humans fit into the context of
He-
the Transformers.
I agree.
Right?
I don't agree with Roger. I'm just reading
And he
Roger's
doesn't
words.
like the Autobots are selfless. Like they're just here to save the human race. Like they'll give their lives to save the humans.
Yeah, to something that they've never met, never experienced, don't understand, but it will do right by you, people.
Yes.
Ian, what do you think?
I did not like I agree with fucking Roger. It's a terrible goddamn movie. I barely remember this movie. I remember watching it and hating it. But here's the thing. Transformers was never my show. It was on when I was a kid, but I was too young to understand it. I couldn't grasp it. I did watch some episodes, but it was like it was over my head in a like sense. And then but all my friends loved it. It's funny. It just didn't hit for me. I think I also had sisters, and I got into more like Care Bears and shit like that. But my friends growing
Give me your
up,
best Care Bear stare.
it's me staring heavily at you and making a noise.
Was that Creepy Bear?
That's
Is that
that's me.
inappropriate, Bear?
That's me.
That was O-Face Bear.
Let me tell you guys, 3 years of theater school has taught me to be an improv master. So you can tell me to do any sort of impersonation or impressions, and I can
I
nail
think those
it.
were your vinegar strokes.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember when you taught me what that was.
But no, I like my friends love Transformers growing, and I always felt like it was one of those things. Like I'm like, I don't get it. Like I watched a Transformer cartoon movie as a kid, and I did not understand it. And then the feature came out, the first one, and I was like, I like this. I get this. And I was like, maybe this is like to finally understand what everyone like talks about. I really liked it. Second one came out terrible. Third one came out awful. And so I understand if there's nostalgia involved and it's just pure popcorn. It's not that for me. But that's what I get with the Marvel movies, where I'm like, if it can be a shitty Marvel movie, I can still enjoy it because it's based on the lore that I grew up with. So I totally understand it. That being said, I think he's on point on a lot of things he says and everything. The only thing, there's one section of that review that he talks about framing, and he describes it because it might have been a projection error based on like it being formatted wrong in the theater he was in. And I'm like, that's something to shit on the movie for something that you think it's the theater's fault or the projection's fault. I'm like, you can't really shit on the movie for that.
That's a pet peeve of mine, is that people who are rating things
Yep.
like he does, that are like you're rating a store, and you rate the store because their clerk was rude to you or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah. They
right?
fucked up.
Like
yeah.
it's not their product that you didn't like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, or
No,
where
you're
you
right.
get something gets sent to you and
it's damaged.
It was damaged, yeah, right?
And they give it 1 star, and it's
And
like,
they're
that
like-
doesn't. But
Yeah,
then,
yeah,
but then
yeah.
they sent them a brand new product.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
that was a big pet peeve of mine.
It's people that like, it's the Twitter thing where people need to yell into the dark void just to get something back, you know, or like just to yell in the void.
The echo
It's like
chamber.
echo
old. It's
chamber.
like old man yells at moon.
Yeah, exactly.
And Ebert had a little too much of that in there, for my opinion. A little too much of "get off my lawn." Like
Yeah.
I agree.
it was out of his generation. If I wanted to know about that movie, I wouldn't go to Ebert's review for it.
Right.
Can I say another thing too?
It's not who I'm looking
you were
for.
talking about the framing and how he was describing that.
Yeah.
he did not go see that movie in the right theater.
Yeah,
That's
because,
an IMAX movie.
Because that movie was designed for IMAX, right? And at that time, that was post Dark Knight, and Dark Knight was really the first IMAX movie that really adjusted and played with
aspect
aspect ratio depending on the type of scene you were watching, right?
Agreed.
So it would go to 2.235, or I'm messing up the numbers right now, but you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it would change it based on. Is this a dialogue scene? Is this an action scene? Do I need to be further back? And that movie does a lot of that, and I think that's what he's nitpicking.
Agreed.
But he's not understanding the context of how it's being utilized, and that's why even today, when you go to Disney Plus, you can watch the IMAX version of the movie. You've got a selection between the two because it's adjusting that formatting. And typically, if you're watching on a 43-inch TV, it's annoying, right?
Right.
But if it's 55, 65, 75, you get into an 85, or you're on a bigger projector at home, you want that cinematic or that aspect ratio change because it actually adds to the experience of watching that movie
The
at that
Eternals
time.
does it that I just watched. Is the close-in scenes they go to the full screen box, and then the wide screens they letterbox it.
Yeah,
and
they letterbox it, and then they'll go to the full 16:9, and then
also
they'll go back.
coincident you mentioned Dark Knight, which was also much of it was filmed at the corner of Michigan and Wacker in downtown Chicago.
you know what's ironic is that at that time there was I feel like Hollywood was hot and horny filming in Chicago,
Right.
because you know how they go through these little things where they're like, oh, Chicago's the hot place to film, and then they go more kind of LA and stuff like that. And I think they were trying to shift it because the first two Transformers were in LA,
Right.
and then they shifted it over to that. But I'll be honest, I mean, the movie is kind of meh.
Yeah.
Right? But again, it's what it is. It's a popcorn movie. I went to that movie because nobody wanted to go see it with me. And I went and saw it by myself at Grant Park. And I had my big fucking popcorn. And I just sat there by myself with a big fucking smile on my face watching Transformers battle it. And honestly, it didn't have to have the greatest story ever. It just had to be just good enough. And honestly, I could pick apart Transformers, those movies all day, because I'm sorry, Bumblebee is a fucking Beetle, not a fucking Camaro,
We
and
had some
all that
product
and all that
placement
kind of
there.
stuff. Jazz is not a Pontiac Solstice; he's a fucking Porsche, right?
Right.
But again, we're just nitpicking, right?
Can I ask, like, did everyone, because this is, if there's one Transformer movie I did like the first one.
The first one's good.
I still like it, but Bumblebee I loved.
Bumblebee was great.
That movie's E.T.
Yes,
They're
very
taking,
much so.
Yeah, they're taking E.T. and they're just redoing
I
it.
didn't think about that. Actually,
Doesn't
no.
Spielberg produce these?
Probably.
Spielberg
Michael Bay.
produces fucking everything.
Yeah.
Michael Bay is like him.
The one thing I have to say about Ebert in this film is that he's reviewing from a perspective of a guy who came from the big story, big creative era, right? Like, you're not. He doesn't come from the really marketed Marvel era, and this is 2013. This review. So his perspective of how he reviews film.
He reviewed this 2013, but the movie's 2011.
Sorry, 2011. My bad. That's not that long ago, right? But,
would you say Jurassic Park is part of that fucking?
I would say
I call
fucking
bullshit.
Spider-Man
The movie
Raimi
you're
series.
fucking. The movie you're fucking. The shirt you're wearing right now is part of that fucking era.
No. What I'm
But
that was
what I'm saying,
75.
I'm comparing this to Transformers being part of the Uber marketing in film.
Hyper CGI.
I would-
like product placement.
Not product placement, just the marketing.
Because I was just gonna say, Reese. You just talked about ET, and Reese's Pieces was basically saved.
I'm not
by
explaining
being,
myself properly.
Yeah.
I know
there's
what
a,
he's trying to
there's
say.
there's a fandom that Ebert doesn't understand because this is a movie for somebody who followed this
Yeah.
as part of their childhood.
Okay.
Okay, so
Well, he's a boomer. He's not a Gen.
that's what I'm
he's not a
saying.
Gen
I'm
X
trying to
or
say
a
this in the
millennial.
most polite way possible.
Well, just say
He's
it.
a goddamn
not-
boomer.
He's a fucking boomer.
Yeah.
and
Actually, Ebert's older than a boomer.
Un-
He's from the
yeah.
Great Generation, man.
Yeah.
just understanding what getting your thing from your childhood on screen is.
Not so great.
To him, it doesn't matter because he was getting stuff that was new and original and entertaining in the first time. This is something from
Also, why is Ebert shitting on Chicago? Wasn't he from Chicago?
He would.
I don't know.
Well, he wrote for the
Maybe he
Chicago
was-
Tribune.
Tribune, right? Yeah.
So here, okay, I watched a lot of Ebert and Roper growing up.
So did I.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, but he definitely liked films that were shitty popcorn movies. So I think this just might be not his cup of tea. Like this one particularly. I don't. It is probably boomer talk a little bit, but I think this was also
Or-
not a good movie at the same time
or
compared
did
to
he
the other
or
ones.
did he like the first one so much that this one was a letdown?
If I remember, I think they did like the first one. If we looked at a review of his,
That's actually be interesting to
Yeah.
find out.
But that should have been referenced in the article, which it's not.
Good point.
true.
Where he should have said, blah 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 blah. In comparison to the first first one
But
and even the
maybe-
second one. You know what I mean?
I just wrote a piece for.
It's 'cause he
a
missed
news outlet,
Megan Fox.
And the editors fucking maybe the editor
Toe
took it
thumbs.
out.
He's like, I got toe thumbs for 2 films. You took the toe thumbs away from me, and the whole thing's a shit pile now.
I like Megan Fox, by the way. I think she's actually
She's coming
you know,
around on me.
She's coming around. She's actually an okay actress. I don't think
She was pretty good in that movie with Bruce Willis. She was okay in that.
Nobody has a good time making a Jerry Bruckheimer film.
Yeah, no, exactly. She even has said like there was some shittiness, like she was treated not very
Yeah,
well.
he's an asshole
Yeah.
on set. He's not a nice guy.
I
He's.
think you mean Michael Bay, or you said Jerry Bruckheimer.
Jerry Bruckheimer was the producer.
I mean Michael Bay.
Yeah, yeah,
Sorry. Yeah, I'm confusing
Yeah, yeah.
the Bruckheimer Bay
Yeah.
relationship. I like this. This is fun. Mark, final thoughts on this before we close
Watch
it down?
Battleship.
I on the Ebert thing.
Yeah.
I just want it. I think it's the connection. If that's the problem, because
Yes.
I don't know. It's a generational thing, right? Like I don't understand what going back and watching like a Humphrey Bogart film or something because it doesn't have like cultural relative like
You're
There's
not your
there's
grandma.
no lasers in it.
right. And
Yeah.
and to me,
Fucking
in my
lasers.
generation, is that the Transformers and G.I. Joe sort of raised me. And at the end of those cartoons, they'd like teach you a lesson,
Right.
right? And that transferred over into the movies, and maybe he didn't have any of that personal connection going into it, so it had to be a cinematic masterpiece,
Yeah.
which it wasn't.
Yeah.
So I guess it's different. Are you rating it as a movie? Or are you rating it as did I like it?
Right.
Right? Maybe it was only a 2 out of 5 movie quality, but I liked it a 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I think it's fine to like something purely for entertainment. I don't think it needs to be an
That's
art
kind of
piece.
the whole point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
I
the
mean,
next-
like popcorn. I'm saying, like in that sense, like where it's like I know this is not a good movie, but I enjoy it because it made me feel good. and let me shut
So's
up my
also a
brain.
bad B movie, but I
Yeah.
enjoy it because I enjoy
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
so.
exactly. And I think
Maybe
that's
Yeah, like
fine
Mark
sometimes.
Hamill's The Guyver. It's a terrible movie, but I like it.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
that's a deeper question. Was he ranking the movie on an objective scale of movies?
And I think
or
that's,
did I like it?
But I think that's why like now Rotten Tomatoes has like the critic score versus the audience score because
Yeah.
these critics have to be almost like pretentious in a sense.
Should we see what the Rotten Tomatoes score was for that
Yeah,
movie?
do it,
Please,
do it, do it,
please.
do it.
So the audience rated it 55%,
Pretty low.
That's a 2.5.
That's also
two
not
and a
as
half,
past
yeah.
fresh, so it's still rotten.
and the average rating was 3.3 out of 5.
Okay,
Okay,
pretty low.
Doug?
and the critics rated it 35%.
Okay,
I think it'd be
Ian was right. No, I'm kidding.
and also
So it
too.
transfers.
Yeah.
Shitty movie, but people still
Yeah, it's fine.
thought it was all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched it. Like I think if it was shitty, I wouldn't have even seen it.
It had great CGI,
Yeah, like that's
and
the
I
thing.
and I like the premise at the beginning where like on the moon landing was actually to go fucking check
Yeah.
out these aliens.
Yeah,
that was
It's a
kinda
no,
cool.
funny
I
concept,
I
you know?
loved it. I loved Malkovich's like badass CEO tan character that
Yeah.
gives Witwicky a hard time. Like the Totoro in his boxer shorts, right? Like
I love the weird
crazy
Malkovich.
conspiracy. You know,
Yeah.
Malkovich,
Oh, fucking
Malkovich?
Malkovich from
Malkovich,
I feel like he's starting to play the same character over
from
and over,
like
though.
Reds. He was fucking
Reds,
great in.
yeah, retired,
Right.
extremely dangerous.
Space Force. I just watched. He was
Was-
fucking great.
Funny in Space Force. Yeah.
I like that Malkovich.
I can Malkovich all day long, and
Malkovich
Being John Malkovich.
and I mean, aside from crazy Shia LaBeouf, I mean, he's tolerable in the role of Sam Witwicky.
I
It's-
like Shia LaBeouf.
I do too,
I
and
do
he's
too.
not misbehaving. Like
I like it when he misbehaves.
I do too.
I love.
I like that he's unhinged.
I agree.
Peanut Butter Falcon.
People
such a
need
good
to.
film.
Honey Boy?
They
Honey
need
Boy,
to.
ooh,
I know that
yeah.
he's hard to
Hard
work
film.
with, but he's done some pretty good fucking
Yeah.
roles.
Indiana Jones 4.
Yeah,
I'm kidding. I'm
Get
kidding.
out.
I'm kidding.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, on that note,
What was that?
that's,
What was that bootlegger movie that he was in?
Oh,
I have no
Lawless.
Yeah, I like.
Oh, I forgot about that movie.
Tom Hardy.
Yeah, Tom
Yeah,
Hardy.
it
Yeah,
was
yeah, I
good.
forgot about
Jessica
that movie.
Chastain.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
Didn't
No,
Tom
that's
Hardy
fine.
kick his ass in that movie? Wasn't there when they were working together? I thought there was
That's
some
the
story.
that's the
That's
Bondurant family who you're right that they were moonshiners and they were famous, and there was a myth that Tom Hardy's character was invincible. He was immortal because they sliced his throat open and he grabbed it and held it shut and survived. That's the big point of the story. But
I think he's talking about off-site, like.
I think on the set.
on the set they got into an
I
actual
thought
tussle.
Tom Hardy
Tom Hardy and
smacked
yeah.
shy.
I think
Tom.
I think it was one of those things where Tom Hardy was like, "Listen, kid, I'm going to give you some fucking advice," because I mean, I think Shia LaBeouf was still like in his party drinking kind of phase at that time, and Tom Hardy had been probably like 8-9 years sober by that point, and was basically trying to bestow some wisdom with maybe a little bit of fisticuffs. But
Well, he was coming off that prison movie that fucking Hardy did. That was badass, where he played like the worst prisoner in the UK.
I can't.
Oh, so good.
Where he covers himself in oil.
Yeah, he was such a fucking badass.
Bronson.
Thank you.
Good
Tom
movie.
Hardy is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy is the Tom Hardy could be Bond.
He should be.
Just a couple inches taller, and they'd have nothing to say.
I still think Idris Elba would be a fucking.
That's
great
who I
Bond.
picked.
I said, what's his name? Dev Patel.
Dev
Yes,
Patel?
Dev Patel's also on a list.
Dev
No,
Patel.
he is.
I
he-
never
British?
thought of that.
You
Yeah.
gotta look good in a tuxedo. Eh?
Yeah.
That's you gotta be a suave sort of.
Yeah.
They need
I
a
don't
young
think
Bond.
Hardy's suave enough.
No, he's too bad.
They
boy.
need a young Bond. I think at this point they can't go old Bond. 'Cause
I
they're
th-
gonna
I-
you're like stuck there for 20 years.
You don't want an older gold Bond. You just want a young Bond.
I don't need a gold Bond.
We need somebody like Pierce Brosnan-esque, but more physical, like Daniel Craig was.
The dude
Yeah.
from the fucking Kingsman he's Bond all day long. He just is
Timothy
already
Chalamet. No,
he's
I'm kidding.
yeah no, but he's already been in fucking movies that basically is Bond. I
Yeah, I
can't
don't like
think of
that
his name.
guy that much, but yeah, he's Rocket Man. That kid. Yeah,
He was
Egerton.
good. He was
Kyle
he was
Egerton.
pretty.
Ty
he was,
Egerton?
He was pretty good in it
Yes.
in Rocket Man.
he's pretty good. Yeah, he's just like not a guy I think of.
If Charlie Hunnam hadn't done,
He's the same guy they
Pacific Rim.
say want to be Wolverine.
Hadn't done Arthur.
I liked Arthur.
I thought Arthur was great.
Ours is fine.
This is my favorite part of the show, where we just throw everything out there before we.
Yeah.
Speaking of, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to another episode. Hey, you know what? May 14th, if you're not doing anything, we're all going to be at the Handsome Daughter doing a live recording.
On May the
for you.
4th?
May the 14th. I wish it was May the 4th.
I know we could have been Star Wars focused.
Could have been. Yeah.
Tell those fuckers to change the date.
Yeah, no, just 10 days off. I that thought had crossed my mind. If you saw us at Comic-Con, it's going to be very much the same thing, but longer and dumber. And there'll be booze, and there'll be chicken, because we'll be at the Handsome Daughter. You can have Magic Bird chicken. You're going to have to just come if you want to experience this, because it's going to be a thing where hopefully Rob loses this time.
No, I
we're
will
more
win.
entertaining drunk.
Yeah,
I,
like when you're
I
not.
feel like in a live format, I just win.
You are a very good public speaker. That does.
By win, you mean talk over everyone?
Ouch.
This is what you can experience, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to come. And then we'll have someone facilitating in some way a microphone for you to be like, "Hey, Ian, I got something to say to you."
Everyone bullied me at the.
Are we gonna
Comic-Con.
get our own microphones?
Yeah, we're gonna make sure.
And
that
never
happens
miss an
this time.
opportunity to correct Rob, because they're few and far between. So you need to point them out.
Yes, exactly.
You should talk. You are as fucking perfectly on point as almost anyone I've ever met.
That's why I'm saying it.
Combine this with a big basket of chicken and some alcohol, and we'll be arguing what movie or series should have its own eatery. That's what we're saying. It can be whatever you want. It can be a pop up.
Oh, man, I gotta think about this.
It could be a food cart. It could be a food truck.
Are you gonna give us each the options? Are we gonna do a short list and then each person's gonna be randomly assigned that?
Yeah, we will totally have a night where we don't plan everything like we did the other time, and it totally worked itself out. So we're gonna do one of those again. But yeah,
Okay.
we'll figure out a way to do.
Not going to be
this.
your Ghostbusters restaurant or whatever.
No,
the fuck
we're
that
not.
was?
I'm
No.
not gonna. I've watched enough Top Chef since then that I was.
Is that where Slimer basically prepares the food in the back and it comes out all like half chewed?
No, he eats it and then shits it onto the plate.
Oh,
And-
perfect.
and
Regurgitates it.
he
basically.
regurgitates
Yeah.
it for you. It's like that coffee that animal eats. The Koopy Luwak.
No, so
Kopi Luwak.
they eat the beans and it goes through its digestive tract and then they shit it out.
I'm going to
and then-
incorporate that in my restaurant
Yeah.
somehow.
Yes.
It'll be alive. It'll be tableside.
What's that from? That's from that Jack Nicholson movie,
Bucket List.
Bucket list. Yeah,
that's
the
what it is.
coffee. So if you want to come, it's May 14th. That's a Saturday night. It's like the spring is happening and
It's sprung.
It's sprung.
You know what's great about that is I can walk. I live a
Yeah.
block away from there, so I can I can walk
we
back.
made sure of this. If you're not from Winnipeg, but you live in
You
the
should
surrounding
fucking fly
area.
here.
Yeah, you should. Well, sure. If you're from
We have
Toronto,
an
yeah.
international airport, no big deal.
Fly here for that if you want. We are still at this point.
Ian Bawa has lots of air miles, frequent flyer
Air
miles.
Yeah.
He'll buy you that movie to watch on the plane.
Yeah.
I made a promise. I made one promise.
Tickets are $10.
That one promise cost you $50,000.
Tickets are $10 at the door. We're worth it. It'll be like 2.5 hours of your evening.
Can you pre-buy these tickets?
No, you have to just show up.
Good.
Yeah, just
So
show up.
Show up early because that
Rush
shit's
seating.
gonna sell out. Rush seating.
No, it's we well, there's a lot of people who are excited to come eat chicken. So if you really do want to come and you don't know us,
You got to eat here. They did a fucking
yeah,
episode there.
they did,
yeah,
didn't
they
they? Yeah,
wrote-
Junkatucci, right?
Yeah.
So that's that.
You got to eat here.
You gotta eat here. Besides that, I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, if there is, someone will tell me and we'll put it in the show notes. Thanks again, ladies and gentlemen. I've been Michael Petrow.
I'm Ian Bawa.
Mark Cowell, like the Batman hood.
Cowell.
The Mark.
And I'm Robbie Strack.
And we're gone. Watch all the movies. Bye. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's all, folks.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies.
And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, another Real Debaters production is in the can. Thank you so much for listening. If this is your first, second, third, fifth, 20th time, thank you so much. But thank you to the first timers, the ones here who pressed play for the first time and took a gamble on us. If you like what you heard today, the easiest thing to support the show is just to subscribe. Hit the like button, the follow button, whatever's in your podcast player. Make it so that we're always there every Wednesday for you, okay? That would be huge. If you want to stay in touch with us, if you want to follow us, there's a couple ways to do that. We're on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. We're slowly migrating to YouTube by putting all of the things we've ever put on video onto that site. There's some surprises coming this year that happened a while ago, but I felt needed to be shared because they're part of the Debaterverse. So the YouTube page is coming. But if you want to follow us, it's at Real Debaters Pod on Twitter and Instagram. It's the Real Debaters Podcast on TikTok. All of the links, all of the one-click away things are in the show notes that you've just listened to. So if you want to follow us there, that would be great too, because then you get to stay in the know of all the things that we do and what we're going to try to do this year and what we've done in the past, so on and so forth. Yeah, so that's how you stay in touch with us. If you want to contact us, it's therealdebaters@gmail.com. All the spelling for all these things is REEL to keep with the title of the show. So you can send an email to us there, request an episode, want to call out one of us for being a goofball. There's places to do that as well too, like the Real Debaters website. You can email us, or you can go straight to the website, rate us in Podchaser, it's realdebaters.ca. And if you really, really liked what you heard and you want to support the show in some fashion that requires you spending money, well, we got a couple ways for you to do that as well too. You can buy our merch at the Prop Shop. It's a store through Threadless, and it's online, and you can order stuff. We've got tons of stuff. We've got our Mass Debater wear there. It's our signature, original, and only line. It's our logo on everything. So you can support us that way. Go to the merch tab in the show notes, or if you just got $1 and you're like, hey, I want to give you $1 and donate it to your cause, there is a tab in the show notes as well too that says donate to the Debaterverse, I think. And if you click on that, it takes you to a donation page where you can donate like $1, $3, and $5, and you'll get something for your $1, $3, or $5. Any more than that's just ludicrous. Luda. So, yeah, that's just kind of what I wanted to tell you. That what I said at the end of the show. This is what you should listen to, because this is all about who we are, and now that we've gotten to where we are, we want to interact with you guys more. So these are the ways to do so. This is the way to stay in touch with us. Thank you to everybody again who's listened to the show. Again, you pressed play. You took a chance. That's cool. So without further ado, this is where I said I would talk more. So it's eggs on your face. No, I got nothing else for you. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. And watch all them fucking movies. Bye-bye.